What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Captain's Lounge. I'm your guy, your host, the captain, the one and only Captain Diesel. And I have with me the usual suspects, my brother, Dad Pad Gaming, the usual
Yo.
OG, dread-headed monster. And I have with me Sir Captain Perry Platypus, the Cyber Dad. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. What's going on with it?
Not much, my boy, not much. Y'all, we have something. Matter of fact, let me check the audio one more time on my end. All right, we good. My bad. Had to double check. Paranoid. But yeah, y'all, we are going to have a very special stream today. Initially, this is just going to be one topic, but I saw a video that I really wanted to discuss with these guys because we usually talk about hip hop and music and the generational age gap with a lot of this different types of stuff. So I thought there was a good topic to kind of go over there, probably in the second half of this stream here. But to start off, there's a game that came out around April time that these guys damn near peer pressured me into buying and playing. Now, initially upon playing it, starting it up, it didn't really grab me initially. But after about maybe like, I think 3 to 4 hours in, I was hooked on this game. Played this game. This game made me feel all the emotions from tears to happiness to all that good stuff. Y'all, today we're going to have a conversation about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, there's two parts of this conversation we'll talk about. First and foremost, just the game in itself, as quality as it is, the background behind it being made, and potentially winning game of the year. And then the second half, there is some stuff that we had a conversation about in our group chat that I wanted to kind of bring over into the video format. But first off, how do y'all feel about this game in a nutshell, first and foremost?
Perry, you want to go first, bro?
Yeah, I'll go first. So for me, in a nutshell, it's one of my game of the year, easily. It was a for sure win until like recently of me playing other games. I'm like, this year game of the year category is really good.
It's gonna be
but it's gonna be tough. But it's by far probably it's one of those games of a generation that's going to be up there in somebody's top 10, top 25, top 5 all time. It's beautiful. It's a hell of an experience. Great for conversation. Great for thought-provoking. And I believe it shows that a particular game style for a particular gaming title is still alive when done to modernize it today. So that's my take. We'll go deeper into that. But yeah, that's how I feel about it so far.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as like game of the year, my sentiments echo that it as of now, it is my number one game of the year. I think it is going to win lots of game of the year awards. And for me, like the biggest thing about this game is it is a large proponent that games are art. And you can see it anywhere from the world. Go eat your food. Go eat it. Yes, eat it. Both of them. Listen, the fact that we got the debate that we're going to have today, it's thought-provoking. And that's the point of art. It's supposed to make you think. It's supposed to make you feel. It's supposed to make you sometimes debate. And I think that this is like the focal point for that argument of people that don't understand that video games are more than just GTA, Super Mario, and 2K. So I love it.
Yeah. Just to give a little bit of back history on the game for people that aren't aware, this is a game that was created by former Ubisoft developers, and this is made by a team of like I think 33 of them. 40. So 40. That blows me away.
So there's like 30 core developers, and then there's like 10 to 15 like contractors / testers that are involved. So yeah.
From what I remember too, I think the writer for the actual game, like initially, wasn't even supposed to write it. I think she was either on the dev team or part of the music. She was part of some other part of the team in itself initially, and then they brought her over to write like the story for the game. So this first off amazes me as somebody that is getting more into the backgrounds of gaming and what it takes to make a game. One of the things that I've heard for years now, and in a lot of background behind the scenes video footage, when you're seeing like how games are made, it's usually like when I'm looking. I think I remember I've seen the the behind the scenes footage for the Santa Monica studios when they did the original God of War, not remake, but the sequel, the 2018 God of War. It was like
Right.
this massive building with like 20 or 30 people in each station working on different things. So when I look at that and then I go to look at something like this to where it's so polished and honestly on the same tier as a game of that quality, but it's made with such a small team, that fucking amazes me that it's possible. And honestly, gives me a lot more hope for the future of gaming. If teams this small and this compact and this efficient can make a game of this quality, then how many other Expedition 33s do we have on the horizon potentially if we're giving smaller groups like this a chance?
Yeah. Quite honestly, there's going to be a lot. And I think some of that has to do with the state of the video game industry, where like AAA and even like the quadruple A games, as some people like to label them as, they're like kind of falling in. And I think there's a special place for like your Call of Duty, your GTA. I feel like those will stay quadruple A games and those continue to make gangbusters as they continue to sell every time they drop. But then we have games like, for instance, Final Fantasy 16. What was a solid game. It was different as a Final Fantasy game, but it was still a really good game and probably has one of the best stories in Final Fantasy for quite some time. And it didn't sell well on PlayStation, despite the fact it was a good game. And they put it on Xbox, and then I think on Xbox they said it only sold like 15,000 copies.
It's the classic,
right? You said it's a classic? No, this is a new game.
One with Clive is the MC. The story.
Oh yeah, with Clive in it. Yeah, it's not selling well, despite the fact that it has a great story, it has beautiful graphics, it has okay gameplay. But the big thing here is the other reason I think this is going to happen outside of AAA games and quadruple A games collapsing is because this is something me and Perry talked about at the beginning of this generation. But Unreal is making it so easy for smaller developers to create larger games. And it will continue to happen because every 6 months to a year, we hear about them rolling out more assets, more tools, more ways to use it, less restraint. And it seems like the further we get into our current generation, and obviously the further we get into development of the PC master race, we're starting to see that a lot of developers are starting to learn how to use this material, this equipment, this engine a bit more. And I think the more those skills get refined, the more these smaller studios are going to be able to do things like Clair Obscur.
Now, I want to ask y'all, because I feel like there's been like this resurgence or trend I've seen lately where turn-based games have been really big as of late between this and like Baldur's Gate 3. And then I won't say Souls-like, but Souls-based or Souls-inspired games, especially the Souls, because I think within like the last couple months alone last year between Wukong, Wu Chang, obviously like Elden Ring and Elden Ring Nightfall, obviously they're actual like from the same company, but
the Star Wars games,
a lot of those, right? How much of do you guys predict this to be like the big trend for a while going forward, or is there something you may be seeing on the horizon as far as a game trend like these games that are going to come about, especially with something like China having a lot more freedom to create and develop games?
So when it comes to, because I'll speak because I'm the residential Souls-like player. Every game you said is Souls-like, because that is a niche genre. That's a genre that's going to do well, especially people who are masochists in the gaming space. They cracked From Software cracked the code of an addicting game that's going to keep people coming. Create your build, create a build that's fun, broken, or something that's challenging, and you get to play the game however you want. Or you have to play a certain style as far as like, you had Bloodborne, Sekiro. So you're going to have games like that. For me, it won't open the door for things that are new. It's going to give more light to a game genre or play style that's already been out there. And that's turn-based because you have Persona. Persona is probably the best one to look at it as. Pokemon is another one that's out there. Digimon. You're going to look at the Yakuza games. Turn-based has always been there. It's just the way it's been done has been very classical and it hasn't been modernized. Which there's another very big genre that's going through the same issue, which is MMOs. It hasn't been modernized to the point where it's going to have that big following, that big hit once again. So for me, this type of turn-based is going to be incorporated in different aspects, but I think it's just going to bring more light into it. And for me, it's going to force Square Enix to go back to its roots and have turn-based into its gameplay once more, because it is a genre that people want. It is a genre that does well.
Wash your hands first.
To me, I believe, because I'm one of those people who love Final Fantasy 16, so I thought it was a phenomenal game. But hell, you see how people love Final FF10. I think we get to go back to that type of aspect. You get more story, you get the more builds on how you want to go about it. So, I think that's an opportunity to go back to it.
I bring that up because, at least from my perspective, y'all can correct me here if I'm wrong, but Expedition 33 kind of seems like a fusion of the two genres in a way. Obviously, you have the traditional turn-based stuff that you would normally see in the game, but with parrying and dodging and blocking being implemented in this game, and then the enemies that you're doing using these mechanics on have very unique attack patterns. Like it's not crazy difficult, but when you're fighting some enemies like the mime enemies in the game, where they just attack in a weird way or move in a interesting way, it takes, at least for me, I don't think any boss took me longer than more than 3 attempts to beat, because I just had to learn the patterns if I didn't get it the first time through. That's something that I think that's something that really was addictive to me, was that combination of the two genres or subgenres, however you want to say it.
Yeah, no, you're correct. I think that this game wears its inspirations on its sleeves in great stride. When you look at it, just as Perry just kind of referenced, when you talk about Souls games, it's a thing of, do you want to make the game difficult? Well, if you do, run out there your dun-dun-duns and go fight that guy riding on the horse at the opening of the game. And fight that guy for an hour until you die or until you level up trying to kill him. Or if you don't want to do that, go around, kill other stuff, build your level up, and then go and fight that boss. And when you look at Clair Obscur with the Pictos and Luminos system, it's literally that. You can equip anything to make the game easier. You can make it more difficult. You can give yourself booms. You can give yourself ailments, essentially. Some of them you can use to your advantage. Some of them are just there to make things more difficult. In addition to that, when you look at Final Fantasy, you can look at the gameplay as it's a high fidelity turn base, which has been, Final Fantasy's bread and butter for a majority of its lifespan. On top of that as well, if you've ever played and completed Final Fantasy X, this story is very similar to what we got out of Final Fantasy X. Won't get into spoilers if you guys haven't played it. But then also when you look at its inspiration of Persona, literally its entire UI for the battle system is pulled out of there. Just like it feels great to nail weakness after weakness and then hit these all-out attacks with your entire team. In Persona, here, it feels great to nail that parry and then get those all-out attacks when you parry a all-out group attack and your entire team jumps in slow-mo, like one of those pivotal scenes from the Avengers movies. They really did a good job of taking the best parts of some of the most influential and important genres today and really just kind of making their own. And I think that's a lot of what makes this game such a hard-hitting contender for Game of the Year. Is not only is the story great, but the game looks good, it sounds good, the battle mechanics are great, it feels good to play, it's fun to play, and it's addictive. Think about this. The Last of Us, I love that game. The story is great. The gameplay is pretty solid, but it's a heavy game. I wouldn't necessarily say that game is fun to play, but somehow with Clair Obscur, despite this game is heavy as fuck, probably heavier than what The Last of Us is, they still somehow managed to make it fun throughout the entire experience. So They're doing something right.
Perry, you got any other thoughts on the gameplay aspect of it, mechanics?
When it comes to the mechanics, for myself, I think, like I stated before, just modernizing it made it really engaging. It incorporated a lot of good aspects of what makes a good turn-based game engaging. It's if Persona did this prior, we wouldn't be having this conversation as this genre like kind of being introduced. It's like this genre is dominating the gaming industry at this point. Because I swear there's tons of turn-based that only need a minor tweak because it's a niche genre. Because it's very you have to there's a lot of engagement you have to do with the game outside of just understanding the mechanic. I mean, just going through it, mechanics, building your team, understanding weaknesses, going through the story, being attached. It's a lot, and I think, I mean, again, like I said, they modernized, and I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like the biggest thing. This is a game that, on paper, one, your investors would be terrified of this game simply because, like, there's no other way to put it. This is of the old guard. Like, this is a game that I've played hundreds of times, you know, starting my RPG journey for games on PS1. I've played hundreds of games like this, but in the last 5 years, not many. I mean, as Perry was saying, yeah, you get some turn-based games, but very seldom are they very high fidelity, intimate. Like, yeah, we got a little bit of that with Baldur's Gate. But then again, Baldur's Gate was still like the over the top, kind of like tabletop like view to it. That despite the fact that game was pretty, you kind of lose some of the fidelity when you zoom out that far from the action. So I mean, it really just kind of slid into that place that Final Fantasy used to be in through like the PS1 through like PS3 era. So I'm here for it, and I can't wait to see what else Downfall does, man.
Yeah, I think the last thing I had to that point, because you guys talked about like the old guard in regards to this gaming genre. I think where this game differs from like a Baldur's Gate 3, for at least it's turn based, but Baldur's Gate, seeing I think a lot of older turn-based games seem a lot more passive, like it's something you can play in passing or play and do something else at the same time. Expedition 33 is a game where you just have to stay engaged, like you're constantly immersed, because you pick what moves or what skills you're going to use in that turn, but if you're not careful, there's going to be like 3 attacks coming from the enemy at that point in time, like back to back to back. So you have to be ready for the parry, you're ready for the dodge. It keeps you locked in and immersed in the environment the entire time, and then the music and the other aspects of the presentation obviously assist in that. But at least from gameplay wise, that's what I've noticed kind of kept me locked in. Because I would like, usually when I'm gaming, I'll have like a YouTube video up or like a podcast or something up to kind of like keep me occupied. Especially if it's like an open world game where I'm traveling around, I don't feel like just listening to the world the whole time if the game's not that good as far as the presentation goes. But with this game, I didn't watch too many other things while I was playing this. I legit had like everything cut off and I was just immersed in the game while I was playing.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I didn't even think about that, but it's the same for me. Perry has cursed me, and I've been playing more Diablo 4 than I probably should. And one thing I noticed about that, as much as I do enjoy the gameplay and kind of derping around in that world, I'm always, at least when I'm playing solo, I'm always listening to a podcast or listening to the music. But with Clair Obscur, I was just like you said, locked in. Like the music. Like, can we just talk about how one, this guy that is the composer of this game was randomly found like on a Reddit like board, like just some Reddit post that he just so happened to stumble upon the developers looking for somebody, and he was just like some random guy that makes music on SoundCloud. And this guy comes in.
Lorian Testard is his name. He sounds French as hell, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, he's super French. Yeah. As Ricky Bobby says, it sounds like he has peanut butter on the roof of his mouth when he speaks. But no, but the dude like is a genius. Like to have a game where every area has its own music and every area has its own battle theme. Every character has their own theme. Every moment, like the craziest thing about this game is there's so much good music in it. It's hard to select one moment, like, because they all sound unique in their own way. But one thing I can say that kind of stuck with me outside of, at the beginning where you have the first erasure and you see everybody starting to kind of like turn to rose petals, is towards the end of the game, as you're kind of moving around. This is like a spoiler talk, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
For
okay.
everybody that has, at this point, the game came out in April. If you have not finished this game, or you care about spoilers for a game, leave for this portion, come back later for the music portion, or go play the game and come back to this part. But let's let everybody know for now, this is a spoiler alert, official spoiler alert.
Yeah, there we go. Spoiler alert. But like I was saying, is at the end, as you come to Lumiere and you're rushing in with Mael and the gang, and you've revived all of these old expeditioners, and you run through and you start to run into battles, and for the first time in the entire game, you get this electric guitar, and bruh, like when that shit hit, I'm like, where the fuck did this even come from? Like how you can go from like funk jazz to classical to opera to all of a sudden now you've got like this choir and this mean ass like electric guitar just smashing through like the final area of the game. Like they just, I don't know. Like I don't even understand how you sit down with a group of people and perfectly construct these type of moments, but they understood the assignment. Like there's not really much about this game I can complain about, man. Like it's almost perfect.
From the music aspect, one thing, because I did a lot of choir from like middle school through college, so I've sang a lot of French songs. This game, one thing I've noticed in regards to the music and the score, all the music has, like to your point, is special and unique to each area, but it all like blends and feels like it could be within the same genre, damn near. Like obviously you have different aspects like guitar from a saxophone from whatever else, but nothing feels like it's drastically outside of what's going on. And in that same instance, there's a lot of French that's saying there's a lot of depth to the actual song itself, because there'll be certain parts like in the actual Clair Obscur theme for the game, or like Alicia's theme, where you'll hear them speaking in French, but the words they're saying are like also kind of going along with the theme of the game or whatever they're saying. And it's something where like you'd either have to like either turn the translation on or turn the captions on to see or notice, or just speak French, because at a certain point I was curious, like what is she saying, and I turned it on and I'm like, okay, this is amazing. There's so much depth, and that's the thing I love a lot when you're looking
singing about my boy Gustav.
Literally, when I'm playing a game or watching a show or a movie, and the score is complementary to what I'm watching on screen, it's just an extra layer of care and effort that went into a game like this. That's, man, it's spectacular. But yeah, Perry, you got anything?
No, I mean, like y'all basically said everything I want to get into, so I'll wait until my moment, because I'm definitely there's a particular debate that we had in chat that I'm waiting for us to discuss.
And we about to start.
So let me translate for Perry real quick. You asked him if he had any thoughts. Perry says, "Music good."
I mean,
like, he ain't gonna deny it either.
No, the music aspect is some of the best music that I've heard in video game. And so when I'm listening to something of that magnitude that matches the emotions that is essentially going on, I mean, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't beat that at all
whatsoever.
Yeah.
So,
but we can get into it though. I wanted to do our due diligence and kind of speak on the game itself, from the mechanics to some of the presentation stuff to some of the writing, and give everybody their just due. But there is a conversation for everybody that's watching that we had in our group chat that really led to me making a video that came out yesterday. I think it came out yesterday. in regards to who the actual villain of the story was. Now, if you guys want to watch that video, you can go find it on the channel, or I'll have it linked at the end of this video, the end of the stream. You can find that there. But the gist of the conversation is, when I finished the game, there are when you beat the game, there are two alternative endings you can have based on the decision you make. One decision finds you playing as not Gustav, as Verso, and you are making the decision to defeat Mael and essentially send her back home outside of the canvas to deal with the grief and the death of her brother and all the other family trauma they have going on. I was interested in finding out what the other ending was, because I'm not playing through this entire game to get to the second ending. I'll watch a YouTube video on the second ending. And in the second ending, you see that Mael essentially is able to stay within the canvas after defeating Verso, and brings back to life all the characters that she loved that died up until this point, and kind of rebuilds this world in her image. And in the last final scene, they are in a opera house essentially, or some kind of performing building of some sort. And we see Verso on stage, very sad, very distraught, it seems, almost on the edge of tears, being almost seemingly forced to play the piano. He's sitting down to play it. He kind of hesitates for a second, and then you pan over to Mael's face, where she's using the paintress powers, essentially the painter abilities. And at least from my perspective, it seemed as though she was like forcing him to play the piano and like entertain. Now, me watching that, it was sinister as fuck, obviously. I think that's the way they wanted to paint it. But I took that and I kind of looked at the themes of everything that was going on, a lot of the plot, and I looked at Mael seemed more like the actual, seemed like a villain. And before I release it to the wolves, I do want to say this. Although I call her a villain, she is not the only villain within this story. Obviously, there's a lot of fault to be passed around in regards to things being in the condition they are in. Nobody is perfect. I think the only person that may have the least amount of like hands at everything going on in a toxic manner is probably Renoir, the father, I feel like, to a certain extent, or maybe the older sister. Is it Alicia? I can't remember the older sister's name off the top of my head right now, because she really wasn't involved. Is it Claire? Claire? Mm-hmm. She was just like, "Hey, get your shit together." For the most part,
right, we got shit to do.
Right.
So like my thing is, I am of the camp of when you want to talk about Verso versus Mael, I don't really think that either of them is wrong. I don't think either of them is necessarily completely right either. And it's funny because I was thinking about this game as I continue to think about it still to this day. And I saw somebody debating online, and they referenced the book of Genesis, and they said, hey, God made us in the image of him. Is that not what the paintress did within Verso's canvas? If God made us in his image and she made the people inside of Verso's canvas in her image, what's the difference between our lives and theirs? And it's one of those things, like when you put it that way, it's very hard to debate. It's very hard to debate, you know? But I think what's interesting is, like, when you really break it down, when you look at things in that perspective, under that lens, you look at what Verso has done, you know, as you explore the relationships, you find out that Verso is not really a good guy. You know, as much as I like Verso, I thought that he definitely had redeeming qualities, like him cutting his body in half to kind of get a laugh out of the group during the time that they're grieving over Gustav was like definitely one of my favorite Verso moments. But then at the same time, in hindsight, to know that he let Verso die, that he let Gustav die and could have saved him, and then turned around hours later to make Jest, like, almost makes it just that much more dark. And when you think about the fact that in this world, these people, they think, they feel, they're scared, they come, because if these people were just truly puppets, if they were truly puppets, it would never have gotten to a point where they said, "Hey, we need to go out here and kill the paintress." It's clear that the paintress, I'm forgetting mom's name, but it's clear the
Eileen.
paintress, Eileen, yeah, it's clear that Eileen's like her painting abilities were so beyond anyone else's, as the gestuals were direct creations of Verso. And we've seen that they had short-term memory loss, and a lot of things that they weren't the most intelligent species. We see that Clair, she made the monsters in this world, and they were, brain dead, bloodthirsty animals. They were beasts. They didn't have much behind them. And then we have Renoir, who made the I forget what they were actually called, but the giant titan. Yeah, basically the kaijus. And we see, the constructs that they are and how extremely flawed they are. But not Clair, but mom again, forgot her name again, sorry.
Eileen.
Created these beings that were truly sentient, that had feelings and were able to think for themselves, and essentially try to kill their maker, their protector, without even realizing that's what they were doing. And I think that essentially is where the debate comes on about these people actually really being human within their own parallel universes, because of the fact that if they were not human, if they were puppets, then she never would have let them get to the point where they could even think those things to try to get to that island to try to kill her in the first place. But it's all up for debate. It's all conjecture.
So let me try to get some clarification on my end. From my understanding, from what I remembered, all the beings or the people originally there, from Gustav to Ciel, all those other characters, they were created by oh my god, I'm blanking on the brother's name, the Verso and Gustav clone, the brother that
Verso?
Verso.
Is that his actual name? Okay, I could remember Verso was his name they gave him there, the actual brother's name, but he the brother, yeah, he created all those beings there. The only beings that Eileen, the mother, created were Verso himself, Renoir, and then Alicia, or at least she was reformed into, not Mael. Mael was reformed into Alicia later on, and she created those three characters and gave them like specific personalities based on how she saw her family at that point. That's why the father is so arrogant or whatever it may be, and why the father, Renoir, the clone you fight, is so much different in personality to the father, where the father's a lot more understanding and caring, because she created him in this like malicious, well, she saw them as being very malicious in the moment because she was grieving and they were interrupting her grieving process or her peace process.
The father reincarnation was actually deployed as for the older sister to combat the mother, to force her to use up all her energy so she can get out the painting quicker, because each year the character, each make-believe painting that was there would disappear. So because I know we stated this and I've been quiet because I wanted my thoughts to be clear. The most logical person in this entire story is the older sister.
Oh, absolutely.
She sees the flaw on both sides, and she's the most logical. Like, we're in the middle of war. We win, we're going to lose some people, but we're also going to save some people. I lost my brother. I cannot sit here and dwell on emotions that you guys are sitting on. My father is in there, and the only person who can combat mother's power is father. So I need to put someone that's equal of less emotion and understanding to force mother to use all her power so we can get back to what's normalized. Mael, you have the potential to reach mother's power, but you're so young and very emotional and going through grievance that you're kind of in my way. So I believe the sister knew, like, you going in here, you're going to start a whole new life. You're going to get wrapped up within the power because you have no control over it. I have time to build and construct what needs to happen. Do you?
Yeah.
So,
and like kind of adding to the world. So the way that the lore like goes, and you have to read in between the lines for some of this stuff, but the way that the world is created, this is actually a canvas that was created by Verso that Clair and Verso used to play in as they are children. That's why if you actually pay attention, The gestrels are literally, if you've ever had like those little figures that you kind of pull at your fingers and they stand up straight, little wooden toys. They're toys. That's what the gestrels are, and that's why they only thing they want to do is fight. It's because they're children toys. So the gestrels, Monoko, and then also what's his name? Big boy you fly on.
SK.
SK.
Yeah, SKA. Yeah, those are all creations of him. And then also Francois, if you notice, he keeps going on about how he misses her. He misses Claire because she used to always come into this painting. But the idea is, while you are right that the paintress did come in here and create painted versions of all of her family members, the reason that she did that is because of the fact that Verso created the painting. His soul is in it. This is like the last living piece of his soul is in it. Yeah. And she actually did create the people here to give painted Verso an actual lived-in world where she could see him live and be within that world. Is essentially the idea. So she did create them, and that's essentially how Alicia ends up being Mael, because in the process of her creating this world, she ends up going into the painting to see what things are about. And in her fit of rage and mournful antics, she literally paints onto Alicia to create Mael as she's entering into the painting. So it was definitely her creations. And I think that's kind of interesting when you talk about the way that this world ends up being the way that it is. It's a playful world that gets really sick, twisted, demented, dangerous once everyone puts their own bit of grief in there. From Winoir creating these titan beasts, and her creating these people that essentially their thoughts end up getting twisted, to the monsters that Clay built. Like, this goes from something like, at face value, it's a really beautiful place, but as you dig deeper into it, it's so fucked up. And all of that happens because of the fact that even like Clay, as the most logical person, is caught up in between nonsense of people that can't let go. And all of that ends up ruining this place to the point that that little bit of soul that Verso has left is literally begging to die,
because he knows he's not just tired. He realizes that this one is killing his mother. There is no truth behind it. This is a grievance story. He is seeing grievance of his family going through it on two sides of, you need to move on and to let me go so you can heal. That's why when I agree when Charlie said Mael essentially is the villain, but in a sense she isn't, because how can you judge somebody or put a villain scape on someone when we don't know how grievance affects someone to try to let something go? You know what I'm saying? Because this isn't like a sickness that took him away. This was due to war. This was due because of violence. Losing someone due to violence is not something people are ready to have. Well, a lot of people cannot have a conversation about on how you can move forward. Some of them just accept the fact and they was like, I'll never move on, while others is just like, I take it day by day. And so with the mother, that was her only boy. And from what Denzel, I'll say favorite child is that, but it's her only boy. So what Denzel said, it's the son's first love, while it's the mother's last love. So that was the mom's beacon of heart. That was my son. That was my one and only son, and he's gone. And his only essence is within this painting. So Mael being the baby, I have a little brother. He's the babies of every family get treated spoiled like, and they're going to carry on the emotions of parents way more on their sleeve than anyone else. Mael carried that pain.
Wasn't Verso the oldest? He was the oldest child, right? The first one?
Yeah, he was the first one.
Yeah, okay.
Miles, and that's why I am a middle child and I understand the sister. Logic sits well. We don't get enough love from either parent because we're just we're here. Fuck it, cool. We'll just look at both sides and see everyone's a fucking idiot. But we're going to keep pushing. But just to get back on Mael, it's like for her in the mother, because I know we had this deep conversation. For both of them, I can't fault them all the way because I can see them because I know what a grieving mother is talking about. I lost a brother to violence. I see a grieving mother every time he's brought up. She's forever talking about him, and she has every right to. You know what I'm saying? And I cannot fault that pain of that individual on what you should do with your pain because that's your baby.
Yeah.
And so, but you have to look at the other side of it with that last bit of spirit is you have to move on. You have to heal. And that is what the older sister is thinking, and everyone else, like, to me, you're not true essence of a living being. You are a place of peace for people to heal or to get away from reality of what's going on in your world. So I get why Verso wanted to leave. I'm like, y'all have to heal because there's a battle going on and there's things that need to happen because you're killing yourselves staying within this fake reality. But if this is healing you or keeping you safe from escaping the pain, it's psychologically a pull on ideologies on either side. And you just have to see which one are you most comfortable with and how you want to live. I like both because I see both. But for me, the better choice is letting Verso go because my nigga's tired. Because like the only thing that affects him, like, yeah, y'all, like Gustav's dead and whatnot, but Mael, Alicia, you're the only one I care for, so I can't really get attached. Now, did it hurt knowing my baby Luna was just a painting, but still.
So in my video that I did where I was kind of painting the whole idea of Mael being the villain, I made a comparison, or a metaphor of using the painting as a drug. And obviously some dude in the comments had an issue with it saying I misunderstood it. But the reason I painted it as a drug, if you've been around somebody who's been addicted to something, whether it be drugs, alcohol, or whatever it may be, you've seen a lot of these similar things that families try to do to get you away from that thing. They're trying to hide the painting from the mother so she can never find it by hiding it in a painting that the youngest daughter did. This painting is killing her the longer she's there. It's giving her this sense of false reality that she can escape into, that's giving her an escape from what she's really dealing with. I say all that to say I look at Mael as being very much so the villain in the story because she is someone who went through seeing firsthand what this drug did to her mother on the outside. And then once she grew up and was able to see what she was doing to the world on the inside as Alicia, and then got her memories back to at least our understanding of what was going on both sides, she saw just how bad and how down bad her mother was. She's like, okay, we got mom off of this drug now. Now, dad, hear me out. I'm going to take this drug, but I'm different. I'm not gonna fall to the same issues and demons that my mom went through. I'm gonna take the same drug, even though I just fought this entire battle so hard to get my mom off of this drug. And that's where I give some credence to her because she's technically on the drug the whole time because she's growing up in this new world and new family and loved ones, so she's kind of already on it. But I look at her kind of sideways because of that.
How old do you think she is, though?
That's the confusing thing too. Because in the outside world,
I got it right here.
So yeah, that's the thing. So Mael is like 14, but Alicia is 16. Okay, yeah, but Alicia is like 100 years old. It's like some crazy shit like that. So
I knew they're like supernatural, but I couldn't tell if they were like living beyond their regular lifespan or how old they really were.
But I mean, also like when you think about
this,
she's
like, 32 in the real world.
Oh, so she's 32. Okay, cool.
She's 32
so,
in the real world,
yeah. So I mean, but think about this: you at 32 should be in the prime of your life. Could you imagine at 32, your brother is dead, your voice is gone, your eye is gone, you are deformed. Your parents pretty much don't pay you any attention. They look at you like a mistake because of the fact that your brother died saving you.
Yeah, but kind of because of you at this point.
Yeah. So, and then on the flip side of things, you find yourself inadvertently reborn into another world, and you've lived in that world for 16 years of life within that world, away from the 32 years in your reality that you have temporarily forgot about for 16 years. You have lived in this world for 16 years, and all of your elements are gone.
So just to point out, so Verso died at 26. He is 10 years older than Alicia, which makes her 16 when he died. So if we do so she's been in this world. Yeah, she's been in the world for like, damn, 16 years.
She's been in this world for 16 years.
So that trauma means, there, it makes sense now.
Hold on, wait. So now we done did these numbers now. So this is what makes shit tricky. So she went into the painting at approximately 16, 17 years old and spent half of her life in the painting.
Getting that adolescence emotions tied into that. So when she relearned all that what happened, remembers it, all those past emotions were not dealt with when she was 16. She did not have the ability to mature. That's why her sister is like, I don't give a fuck what you do. Get out of my way, because I was able to process this. That's why she's the most logical. That's why she makes the most sense.
Yeah. You ever hear what they say? They say it's something like, when you are truly traumatized, your maturity never leaves past the age in which you were traumatized at. Have you guys ever heard something along those lines? So it's kind of interesting that we meet Mael at 16, and the biggest traumatic moments in her life happen between 16 to 17. And despite the fact in the real world, she's 32, when she's aware of the fact that she is heading towards middle-agedom in her life, she is a child when she comes to Renoir and pretty much begs him, like, hey, please let me stay here just a little bit longer. I can do this drug. I am okay. I'm different. There's almost like that childlike immaturity that you assume that you're invincible, despite the fact that there are so many other people that have fallen ill to said drug in this situation. Like, it's hard to fault her having that information, because it's like she has spent half of her life there.
What beats that childlike demeanor or that ideology in further is the fact her father's like, well, no, she admits she can leave and come back into the painting. She doesn't have to leave forever. Granted, her father's like, yeah, once you leave here, I'm burning all this shit down. But she promised her father, because remember at the end of the game, she promises her dad, she's like, hey, leave, I'll be right behind you. I'll come out and I'll go right back in. And I can't remember if it was Verso, or I remember at some point there was a narration kind of letting everybody know, like, oh, she lied to her dad. She's planning on dying in here. She's never going to leave. She doesn't plan on ever giving this drug up or using it in a responsible manner, which honestly, it wants me to have some sort of sequel, whether it be a show, another game, or a movie, really showcasing the culture behind these paintings, because we already know from looking at the logs and hearing her father to speak where these paintings are very addictive to the painters, because her father almost died being stuck in a painting, and that's how he met her mother. Her mother saved him from a painting. So these paintings are like their whole identity is based around them being painters, but these paintings are so addictive and can literally kill them if they get too obsessed with them. I'm like, are there not more restrictions or more or safeguards in line to because I feel like this is something that should be rampant within all the painters, within the entire council, or the people as a whole.
Right. I mean, but that's one thing, we don't have enough information about the painters. Like, do the painters exist outside of the DeSantos family, or are they the painters?
No. So what I remember hearing from the game, there's like a collection of them because there's a council. Her
Okay.
mother Eileen served on the council, which is why Clea had to step up because Eileen, as the head of the council, like disappeared into the painting, and Clea had to step up to lead the council now during
Okay.
wartime. So there's a whole like group and like I don't know how many, but I know there's at least some form of an organization of them where they have some kind of like structure as far as that goes.
Okay, cool.
Which is
Yeah,
why I'm like, that's
I
kind
don't
of
know,
crazy.
man. It's really crazy, like when you think about it that way. But ultimately, it's one of those things that when it comes down to it, like I really think that, like, kind of going back to like Mael and being so childish, is a lot of that has to do with Renoir as well. Like Renoir is like he has a Superman complex. He feels that he has to fix everything and make the decisions for everybody. And I think that which does kind of
that came after the death of his son.
yeah, it definitely did, and that's the way he's dealing with the grief.
Yeah, he felt helpless.
But what's interesting to me is it's almost like if Renoir was to let go to a degree, and because they kind of showed that his wife didn't go straight into the painting. Like there was a period where they were just beefing and they couldn't engage in conversation, they couldn't deal with each other before she fell into the addiction of this painting. And one has to ask, like, if Renoir maybe had gotten a grip on things sooner and then maybe wasn't going so balls to the wall, like, we gonna destroy this shit. Like, how different the situation would have been had, all right, I understand the painting is here. We can pop in here. You can you can see him exist within this realm within reason. Think about it at this point. Now, this is the happy world. It's thriving. There are no monsters. There is no paintress. There is no monolith. There is no, I forget, there is no fracture. You know, these people are just living and thriving, and she gets to go into a universe and see a world where Verso does exist and did live a full life. But because of the fact that he's hovering and he's controlling, like, I would be curious to kind of see like an Expedition like the Zero game where we kind of see the fracture and the beginning of this altercation with Eileen and Winrar, because
there's only one Expedition team I care for, and those are the ones that came in there lifting shit.
Oh yeah, them niggas. Yeah, I forget what number they are. I want an anime based on them. That's what I want from them. But as far as like during the fracture, like, did he come in guns blazing? Because it seems like to me is like from jump, it's always been, hey, get the fuck out of here. We're destroying this place. It's not good for you. Like, what was there ever a soft hand in this? Because like I feel like that could change the entire scenario of if they know that they can go back and visit. But what made it so dire for both you know, Mael and her mom are the fact that they know that once they leave this painting, it's getting destroyed.
I think the slight pushback, I'll agree. I agree to an extent in regards to the lack of communication, because from what I noticed through the cutscenes we saw leading up to like showing the interactions Eileen and Renoir were having up until the point she started using the painting, it did seem like it didn't necessarily always seem like he was the aggressor. It just seemed like they were going through their marriage kind of falling apart due to the death of one of their children, where they didn't either. I couldn't tell if it was more like him blaming her blaming him, them blaming each other, or what that situation was. Because it's to your point, it seems like he's very prideful and he feels like he has to save everyone or be in control of his family as the head of a household. Him being old and French, that's probably how a lot of that stuff went as far as the machismo Spanish, but whatever the equivalent of machismo is for the French people. It seemed like he had that in abundance. What I will say,
Right.
I do feel like the aggression towards the painting may have been a trauma response due to the factor of he almost died in his own painting at one point in time. And I kind of understand a slight mindset he has in the whole like explosion towards it because, or at least the anger with his wife, because you saved me from my painting. You saw what this looks like at its worst and saw me almost die. And now you're doing the same thing you stopped me from doing. So I can
Yeah.
understand like how he just like has that response of like, okay, so you know you're fucking up and you shoot. Honestly, when we're looking at this, and I think it's kind of confirmed in Mael, like near the ending, Mael and Eileen are essentially like committing self murder. I don't know if we can say the actual word on YouTube. I want to get clapped, but they're just they're conceding to them dying in the pit. They know they're going to die, and they're conceding to death.
They're accepting their way of life is going to be the reason why they go out, because they cannot accept the grief of what's going on. They're okay dying in this false reality because it's the only place that brings them peace.
Right.
I am more curious on the people the people they're battling. They're called the writers.
That's what I want to know more about too, because obviously from the way it's like depicted, it sounds like they have similar abilities, but obviously based in text versus like painting. Mm-hmm. But also they can somehow set fires inside of buildings without. Well, from what I remember in the Eileen thing, she like let them in, or they convinced her that they were like there to parlay or something of the sort, and then they set the fire. I'm not sure. Again, hopefully we get some kind of a sequel or show, game, movie, whatever it may be, to kind of showcase a little bit of what happened there. But yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. I will say that supposedly the team had ideas of DLC, but there was no plan for them. But because of the massive success in the wanting for more, they are reconsidering on how they would push DLC out for people to get more information and possibly more gameplay. So I am curious on how they will go about it. I'm excited for it. Again, this is probably the number 1 and 2, depending on if you play the other game that's considered game of the year. Up there, it's fun. It's engaging.
You talking about Donkey Kong?
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, Donkey Kong's fucking fun.
Bro, Donkey Kong. I'm sure there's another game that was released. I think people are trying to put it. Oh, fucking Death Stranding too. I've heard people talk about like Kojima and that connection there, and that potentially being in the contention for Game of the Year as well. And then I gotta see more from it, but maybe Ghost of Yoti's in that conversation. But I don't think they've added enough to the game from what they did with Ghost of Tsushima. Besides, like a lot of the
it's experience, dog. It's experience the story. It's everything that's packaged with that one. Yeah. So that lo-fi beat is going to be a game changer.
That's gonna be fire.
If people go in, if people go in there, because not to cut you off, Greg. That game of the year is going to come from how many people post their screenshots. Mm-hmm. That was huge with the first one.
Yeah, it definitely was.
I took a million pictures.
Oh yeah, like my thing is though, quite honestly, I think that all the games in which we're mentioning here are definitely going to be nominated. But my thing is, the big difference here is like people have been talking about how good Death Stranding has been. They've been talking about how good, they expect for Ghost of Yotei to be. The thing is, though, I really don't think what's the other one? South of Midnight, even. People talk about how good that is.
That would get an indie title.
I think what separates Clair Obscur from the rest of the pack, though, is that it literally shook the world of gaming in a way that I have not seen really since the first Last of Us came out, where when The Last of Us came out, when Clair Obscur came out, people stopped what they were doing to look at what was going on with that game. And I think that is like the big separation between this game, because when you look at it, this is a team that have made their first game. Now, the big thing about this is a lot of these people that were on this dev team, this is their first game. They were just like small time at Ubisoft and just said fuck it and left and just jumped on gang. When you look at You have Square Enix looking to sit down with Sandfall. You have fucking Hideo Kojima, who's like the Steven Spielberg of the video game industry, sitting down to have a talk and pick the brains of this team. You have these guys doing interviews, doing music videos, already greenlit to have a live action movie. People begging for DLC, people still months out debating on what the hell any of this means when you talk about the ending. Like, we're not getting that out of any of these other games.
I would say Donkey Kong is another one that people Donkey Kong from a fun aspect and aesthetic, they did not expect. Donkey Kong is shaking the gaming industry right now because they did not expect Donkey Kong to do what it's doing right now. Because it's like they're surprised on how fun it is. That's the thing.
It is fun. But this is my thing with Donkey Kong though. Donkey Kong is literally like Mario Odyssey Part 2. It is just Mario Odyssey Part 2 with
to give it such a blanket cover of Mario Odyssey 2 is undeserving because it is something of its own, because it's not something that people expect Donkey Kong to be, especially when the second companion is not Diddy Kong. It's a character from past that's been pulled in. So
who is literally the mayor in Super Mario Odyssey. But this is why I say that though, is because I don't know how much of Donkey Kong Bonanza you've played, but if you took Donkey Kong out of that game and put Mario in it instead, do you have a different game?
Possibility, depends on the mechanics. I can't structuralize.
I'm saying same mechanics. I'm even saying same mechanics. If you take Donkey Kong out of that game and you put Mario in there, and then instead of Donkey Kong punching shit, now Mario has a super fist.
But I could say if you put the parry mechanics and then in any Persona game, do we still have the same concept?
No.
Because you're wrong, because in 3, 4, and 5 we have different themes that we all face in conversation. Now, is it going to be something that is battling you think as far as perspectives? Maybe not. But in 5 itself, there's four different situations. Fuck the 4 different situations. The Secret Palace itself, that is the conversation that we're having with Clair Obscur. Are you mad at the decision of the professor of what he's done? Is he wrong for what he wants to do to hide the pain from others, to take that and put them in a basically again jutsu for the rest of their lives so they don't face pain? That is also facing the exact same thing of being in a painting so you don't face the reality of the pain and what you're going through. Add the parry mechanics of the time it was going on, you have the phenomenal music, you have the amazing the concept of setting up a team to understand weaknesses. You have that concept of phenomenal stories of battling the ideas of others. That is, you're adding those mechanics because you can't do that with JRPG.
This is why I say that. It's because you're not wrong, but the difference is this: when you look at Super Mario Odyssey and Donkey Kong Bonanza, the art styles are very similar. The gameplay is very similar. The choice of music is in the same wheelhouse. Versus with Clair Obscur, the art style is completely different than Persona. The characters are very different than Persona. There are no linking connections outside of the UI.
To your point, you can't blame Nintendo because that's in-house Nintendo.
I'm not shading it. And like I said, I'm not shading it. I fucking adored like Mario Odyssey. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but the fact that you can say, oh well, this is just that again with a different character is why I feel that, despite the fact I'm sure Bonanza will walk away and it will get some Game of the Years, it's a fun game. At the end of it, like Clair Obscur, while it does wear its inspirations on its sleeves, there's not anything else like it right now. Like, you can see its influences, but Ghost of Yotei is more than likely just going to be more Ghost of Tsushima with with Death Stranding, it's literally Death Stranding 2, but now we've got Metal Gear mechanics in it. You know, with South of Midnight, I haven't played it yet. I would assume South of Midnight is more of its own thing, but it just did not shake the world the same way that Clair Obscur has shaken the world.
Clair Obscur shook the world because the genre of turn-based was not getting the respect that it needed, and it brought something new. But I cannot dilute by saying Ghost of something like a sequel, like a Ghost of Yotei, is just more of the first game. Because yes, it has the same mechanics possibly, but we are getting a different experience because we are getting a new world. We are getting something is going to, so that is a huge a piece of the puzzle for a really good game. Because I could say, well, Assassin's Creed is just Assassin's Creed. If that was the case, all the games would hit. But they change certain elements within those, and they're not the same. They don't get the same respect. You love Black Flag. I am an Ezio Auditore de la Francia fanboy. Nothing he did was amiss for me. But then we have Charlie, who has literally played every single one, and his experience for each one is different. But we cannot say that these games are essentially the same because of the mechanics may be the same. We have to understand that we have the resources to build on something. You want to introduce something new, cool, but we need to make sure we are still getting that experience. But you're telling me something at the same time, and I completely understand what you're saying with Donkey Kong. I'm just saying that what they're doing, what Donkey Kong is doing, people are they're trying to find ways to not validate how they purchase this goddamn Nintendo Switch 2. And Donkey Kong right now is showing them you need to get a Nintendo Switch 2 for this game alone. That is power within a game. You have this is your launch game title that came out 2 weeks later. So that right there, it makes a factor on why it's like, if it was anything else, sure, Mario Kart could not do that. People were not feeling Mario Kart like that, and this Mario Kart looks great. It costs too goddamn much, but it's not doing what Donkey Kong is doing right now for that particular console. Now, for the aspect of what it's doing for the game industry, you're absolutely right. Clair Obscur is bringing that love for turn-based back, and it's nothing like that right now. And it's going to see more coming down the line, that it's forcing one of the AAA giants to go back to its roots. I believe that it's going to do that with Final Fantasy. I hope it does that.
It better.
It has to.
Let me ask you this in regards to Donkey Kong and in the Switch 2. Mm-hmm. How much of the success of the Donkey Kong game do you attribute to people's group, like, I almost want to say corporate greed, but their like compulsion to want to buy a Switch 2 as soon as it comes out? Like from it was from the time it was announced to the time it came out, people were like, they were going to buy a Switch 2 regardless. They wanted it just to have it. Mm-hmm. And because it didn't really launch for any sparkly games, a lot of the bigger games that people were interested in that they announced are coming out later on. And this being the only big title to launch with the Switch 2, how much that do you think is just, oh, it's a launch title game? I already wanted to buy the Switch 2. Switch 2, I think didn't they break the record for like the most console sales like ever in like the first like
the most consoles sold.
So in the launch window, yeah.
If the most people ever have bought them, and then there's only one significant launch title with it, it's a great game, but how much of the success do you attribute to like people just wanting to play something on this console?
I will say this, and Greg he will add to it. If it was any other console, you will be 100% right. Nintendo Switch fanboys is a different breed when it comes to anything that's Nintendo based. You are essentially right in a way, like, yeah, they just want a Nintendo Switch, but just to have one, but they will support Nintendo. As you can see, Nintendo does not need to network with anyone in their gaming industry, because they will resell the same shit over and over, and people will spend the money. They know their community. When it came to, I believe last year when me, you, and Aiden was on something, we did a Nintendo stream. Nintendo, we were not feeling most of the games, but guess who was feeling all those titles? Nintendo fans. Yeah, they were eating. Nintendo fed their fan base every single time. So they know once they have this Switch, Nintendo's just going to keep giving them stuff to keep playing the consoles on. They don't care about third party. They know Nintendo's going to give them everything that they ask for, in a sense if it's slop or not. So I blame their community. I blame their fan base. I blame their fan base for a lot of their shit. And to answer your question, it is yes and no.
Yeah,
I'll say yes and no.
That's exactly where I am. I think that the answer is somewhere in what you said and kind of what you're implying, Charlie. Because the fact of the matter is, we talk about Donkey Kong and its success. We're talking about a console that just launched to be the best launch window console in video game history. It has one game at this time of launch. It had one. Now there's two, but it had one game at launch, and people still lined up for a Nintendo Switch and that one game. Like, and that says something. It says something alarming, in my opinion. I think that people see new shiny thing and must grab it, and sometimes that is me. But at the same time, when I bought my PS5, I had Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I had Spider-Man Miles Morales, I had like 3 or 4 other launch games. You know, like there were things to do, but here, like, we literally had one game. There was no variety. There were no options. It's like, hey, you can buy this game, or the games that you already own, you can pay us more money and we'll make them look a little prettier.
And we're not talking about games that are also on the Switch 1. We are strictly talking Switch 2 games.
Yeah.
That was Mario Kart.
Shout out to my boy Josh Beach in the chat. Thank you for showing up. Love seeing new faces. He says, I'm a fan of my Switch, but the killer app is a ways off for me with regards to getting a Switch 2. I'm having fun on my PS5 at the moment, and he's waiting on Metroid to drop before he gets the Switch 2 is what I'm guessing.
Yeah. For me, I'm waiting for a Pokemon game, and it is not going to be fucking Pokemon Legends. What's the new one? Zygarde?
ZA.
Yeah, it's not going to be that. It's
No,
not. Like, I'll probably backtrack and get it, but it's not that. Like, I need them to give me like a black and white remake or a
Pokemon Champions will be
gold and silver remake. Pokemon Champions is definitely a weird one. I need to see more about what's happening with this, because the idea of you being able to have some type of in-game currency, which I believe they said you can't buy with real world money, and you can change and alter, like directly change and alter the stats of the Pokemon and change their natures. And like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I understand that, you know, you want to lower the entry for the grind, but I think, and it's funny, like me and Aiden kind of had this conversation. I think that Pokemon Champions or whatever, I don't think that's how you necessarily fix the Pokemon franchise. I think that really what these Pokemon games need is they need like some type of veteran mode in here. It's like, I get that these games are marketed towards children, and that's fine. Like, there are plenty of things that are marketed towards children that we as adults enjoy. And Nintendo knows that. Nintendo knows that at least 70% of the people that are buying these games are not children. They have to know.
They have to know.
You know, so like my thing is, like, me and Aiden kind of talked about this. Like, what's stopping them from having a veterans mode where you can play the game, you can skip past the tutorials, cutscenes can be skipped past. You know, the only tutorials that you can't skip are tutorials that are regional exclusive mechanics or game exclusive mechanics that you need to learn in this new game. And then also, you like, let's get all of the Pokemon and all of your gym leader NPC battles, rival battles on a 10-point system. If you have a 10-point system where you can be anywhere from -5 up to +5, and that determines how far off from a level that you're dealing with in the wild, how far off of the level you're dealing with as you go to rebattle gym leaders or rebattle the final Elite Four and all that shit. Like, give the people that want it a challenge. Because I mean, my thing is, like, we say this all the time, with Pokemon, the game doesn't start till the post game. And quite honestly, there's not really a post game in Pokemon. We just know that once that happens, we have access to go catch what we want to hatch. We can go catch what we want to catch. We can go breed for the things we want, and then we can speed level them up, focus their stats, and battle our friends. Like we essentially as a community created a post game for Pokemon. And I think Nintendo knows enough to know that we want to play the game the way that we want to play it, and instead of kind of hindering us like they've done so often in the past with Smash, and they're even having issues with trying to make people play the game that they want them to play it with Mario Kart, and there's an uproar there. Just like lead into the fan base. Like I think that's Nintendo's biggest thing is like Nintendo will give people what they think they want, and sometimes they're right, but if they're not right, you just eat shit and you deal with it anyway because I'm a Nintendo fan and that's what I'm going to do.
Agreed.
Now to finish out this portion, let's go along the panel here and give our pick for what we think is going to be game of the year. If it's going to be Clair Obscur 33 or as of now, it's early, or maybe we'll do this. Give me a game that you think should win or could win game of the year that's not Expedition 33. We'll do that because I think we all, for the most part, feel like Expedition 33 will win it. So let's put.
Can I give you my top 5 nominees?
Let's stick at the one. Let's stick at the one just so we can move on to the next topic without taking all day. Because I know us. If we do 5, it's gonna be a slippery slope.
Yeah. if the game. Because I'm having a lot of fun with my little brother. It is it probably won't get, because it has to be nominated. So I'm not going to say that one.
I mean, go for it, bro. Follow your heart. If that's what you think, then just say it. It's fine. No one's going to judge you.
It's going to get nominated. It's going to be Ready or Not. Ready or Not is going to be nominated for a game of the year.
Is that the SWAT game that they brought over
to
the console?
That's what it's fucking fun.
I want to play that. I haven't played it. I was going to ask y'all if y'all wanted to
Charlie,
get it so I could try it out with
Charlie. Look at me
so
right
bad.
now when I say this. When I say I go in there and I'm like, get your ass on the ground or I'm putting one of your. I am the officer of the law. You will follow my command. The game is fun as hell and it's stressful. It's like it's fun. I plan on streaming it. If you play with a group of friends, you have to communicate. I didn't know it was going to be this fun. I definitely recommend it. It's going to be something that's definitely nominated for sure.
If y'all can promise me we're going to get a run-in as a group at least once, I will buy that shit tonight. I will buy it tonight.
I got it. I got it.
Because I saw the gameplay for it. It looked so fun, but I'm like, it seems like one of those things I need to play with the homies. And I can't get any of the other friends to buy games outside of y'all. So I'm like, all right, let me see if these niggas want to get it. But I forgot to ask about that.
I'll think about it. Like if the peer pressure is strong enough, I will give in. Right. I don't know. For me, I mean, it's easy to say Death Stranding, and I don't want to say Death Stranding just because Jeff Keighley and Hideo Kojima are BFFs. And even if it's not nominated, I feel like it's going to get nominated because Jeff Keighley. But what I will say is I'm not sure if it's going to get nominated or not, but it might be high on my game of the year list. But I just tried out the demo for Shinobi, and fuck, is that game beautiful? Is the music good? Does it feel good to play? Does it have A1 like platforming in it? Yes. I don't know if it's going to get nominated, but I can see it absolutely positively being at the top of my list. If the demo, which was the first level, is any indication of the quality of the rest of that game, I'm here for it. I've already 100%ed the entire first level, done everything, and like turned over every stone in that level, and I am ready for more. And then also, of course, we got Metal Gear, but can they nominate? I guess it's a full remake. It's not a remaster, so I guess there is the possibility of it. But I guess we'll have to play it first and kind of see what it does, what it's hitting for.
Right.
I think for me, this is a game that kind of goes under the radar. a lot in other conversations, especially around Game Awards, because it is blackety black, 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 black. But South of Midnight was a game that, for a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
the
that's gonna
same
be there.
things we gave, for a lot of the same reasons we talked about Clair Obscur, I enjoy this game for the same reason. The music is just as good in regards to the level of quality of it, the way it matches the themes, the environment, the story is compelling, and honestly deal with very similar conversations around grief and loss. Like, honestly, the game's very, very similar and very mirror each other in regards to the their 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 uh their story beats and the metaphors and the message they're trying to deliver there. And the gameplay was just fun all around. And it's something that normally I don't think I would play that much, but since I think I can't remember which, if it was like a game award, not game awards, it may have been the game awards, like because I remember we were in a stream together watching it live on BLM whenever we saw the first trailer for the game. And after I remember seeing that first trailer, we were all like, yeah, we're gonna try that out. And I think Nick was the first one to play it, and he let me know. And I played that thing. I played the first like 2 hours on stream, and then just got lost in the game throughout the rest of the story. Like I could not put it down. So I could see that potentially winning game of the year as well. But like I said before, it's very, very much very black, in black culture and black presentation of like majority black characters and being very Creole and Louisiana. I just know it's not going to get its just due, especially based off a lot of the racist rhetoric that was going around once the game was like first announced. People were saying some weird shit about it. So when it comes to the
Don't
Game
they always
Awards,
say weird shit?
yeah. So that's like with games this black, I just don't expect it to get the proper accolades or just due in something like the Game Awards. It seems very much so Caucasian, to say the least. I feel like they'll give it Clair Obscur a lot more review because the characters are majority white and it's French, but that's a whole different thing though. Or honestly,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if a lot of the Chinese games get a lot of that same treatment, because I don't think Wukong should have won Game of the Year because a lot of the technical issues, but for the impact that game made on casual fans, like the fact that when that game dropped, people that would normally never play any kind of Souls-like or Souls-inspired game was playing the fuck out of Wukong. And to the same extent, the same thing with Elden Ring too, because streamers like Kai were playing it and putting it in front of people that had never thought to play something like that beforehand. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
I will say play Wu Chang.
I need to.
It is way more. There's no technical difficulties that you're going to face when it comes to that game, like you did with
Wukong.
Yeah.
Moving into the second topic of discussion for the stream here, y'all. Normally, whenever we are linking up, I drag you two into conversations around hip hop. We've had conversations around the Kendrick and Drake stuff. We've talked about some up and coming artists and the generational gap and whatnot. But today, as I was deep cleaning my entire house, preparing for guests that are going to come visit tomorrow, I had on turned on a video by a creator that I find very dope. I've watched a lot of his stuff over the years. And he does really great content and video essays. My guy, FD Signifier. And he had a video today that dropped titled "Hip Hop Has an Age Problem," kinda. And that, made my whiskers perk up. And I'm gonna play maybe the first 2 to 3 minutes of the video. And then, 'cause I watched the whole thing. I think Greg said he's watched the whole thing. I don't know how much Perry has watched because I sent it to y'all I think
I
hours.
watched. Yeah.
Okay.
I watched.
So for the people watching now, we'll play a first couple minutes and then we'll get into a lot of the dialogue here. So let me pull this up. And give it a chat right here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna turn the chat back on and shrink it because that may help me with copyright stuff. But it shouldn't be an issue. We'll see. All right, y'all. Let's get into this.
Album Let God Sort 'Em Out, and a few weeks ago, the Clips released their 5th studio album, Let God Sort 'Em Out, and their first album in nearly 15 years, to critical and commercial acclaim. And after a week or two of discourse, I made a video about how I had mixed feelings about the fact that arguably the most critically acclaimed, attention-grabbing rap album of the year was made by 2 men older than me. That video never made it to YouTube. And it didn't make it for mostly good reasons. A lot of what I had to say in this video, I'm going to low-key repeat in this one. But right after that video was finished, I saw a video from my problematic nephew, Dom, where he continued his smoke demon phase toward the generation before him, agreeing with my overall opinion, but also adding some things to the story that I knew I wanted to touch on, and I didn't know if I touched on perfectly. Before I could add anything to the video, I ended up taking a trip to LA for some business and ended up connecting with who I would say is the godfather of modern hip hop journalism and content creation, the company.
Yeah, I know who this dude is, but I had never heard of before this video.
I'm not in the hip hop space for journalism right now, so I do not know him.
I don't know who this nigga is, and I hang out and deal with a lot of hip hop journalism.
Yeah, apparently he's been around for a minute. I was like, maybe these niggas know who he is, but I had never heard of bro. But
he's a
anyway,
YouTuber though, from the black in the background.
Yeah. So I'm not, no discredit to him. He probably puts a lot of good things. I'm not in that space.
all right.
Conversation with him really helped me see that my initial take was inadequate. So the following is a result of my thoughts influenced by two, what I would say, powerful voices in hip hop criticism from relatively opposing sides from the generational and artistic divide. In using those angles, I want to discuss why I think we're at a pivotal crossroads for hip hop and music culture in general. So let's talk about Let God Sort 'Em Out and why that album is so interesting, but also alarming. Hip hop has always been an art form that reflected the energy and attitudes of America's and eventually the world's young people. In fact, I remember vividly as a teenager joking with my friends about how weird it was gonna be when someone like Snoop Dogg got old and was still trying to rap. And mind you, old rappers are definitely doing weird shit right now. But it's not necessarily the music that's weird. In fact, the last half decade has proven that old rappers can actually still provide the genre with amazing work. Nas went on a generational run coming out of COVID that rivals anything he's ever done as an artist. Jay Electronica oddly gave the world his first album in his early 40s after over a decade of waiting. Artists like A$AP Rock, Billy Woods, and even Killer Mike have all given the world numerous excellent projects in the last few years, while all in their mid to late 40s. And of course, probably the first to show that this was possible was Jay-Z back in 2017 at 444 when he was 48 years old. Now, one difference is the fact that unlike a lot of other old rappers, the Clips are still rapping about selling drugs, being rich, and killing people. And I love it. We all loved it. It's great. And if you think about it, it's no more relatable to a person like me when I was younger than it is when I'm older. So it's just good, fun entertainment. But also in between those drug bars, we get amazing moments about aging with hip hop and in the spotlight, gaining perspective through experience, losing parents. All this to say, as much as I love him, Andre 3000, you are wrong. There is a lot of room for older people in hip hop. Teray, another hip hop journalism elder, said as much a while back. However, I still have concerns when I see the rollout and reception for Let God Sort 'Em Out, not in terms of its success, but in terms of galvanizing the culture, drawing attention, and driving trends and conversations, being a moment in hip hop in a way that I don't know if it's happened enough in the last decade or so. Because while I think there's plenty of room for older rappers in hip hop, any genre of art that is dominated by people in their 40s going into their 50s, especially a genre that used to be driven by younger people. The aforementioned Nas, for example, was 19 when he made Illmatic, and the aforementioned Andre 3000 along with Big Boy, they were both 19 when Outkast released Southern Playlist and Cadillac Funky Music. If the only people really engage with hip hop culture as a music culture and not a drama culture, and we'll get to that later, if those people are all pushing 40 and older, that means hip hop is dying, or at least that it's not in a healthy place. As much as I love Kendrick Lamar's current reign of dominance, I don't know if there's ever been a time where the biggest star in hip hop has been in their late 30s. Drake's most dominant run in the 2010s, he was in his mid-20s. Kanye and Wayne before him were in their mid and late 20s. Jay-Z was maybe the first to do this in his 30s in the late 90s during his most dominant run, but he had been around since his mid-20s. And before that, Biggie, Tupac, Lauryn Hill, Missy Elliott, Run DMC, LL Cool J, and so on. These were all very young men and women becoming superstars and affecting significant change and impact on hip hop culture, making iconic work at that time. It's not that it's not happening now, is that the way it's happening is not where it needs to be. Now, I want to be clear that I'm using the word iconic for a reason, because I'm about to give maybe my hottest take in a while to point out a paradox happening in hip hop. I'm not saying that there are no young rappers making good music right now in 2025 or in the past decade or so. In fact, I think that hip hop music as a whole is the best it's ever been, and this includes younger rappers. Now, I know this is something that people my age would disagree with, but that's because they're probably less locked in than I am, and y'all know I'm not nearly as locked in as I used to be once upon a time. And part of that is because there's honestly too much good hip hop coming out these days. There's a new rap girl with a ratchet banger every 3 weeks. There's a new Griselda project every 2 months. There's an entire genre of female MCs making more purist boom bap adjacent music like Chica and Lil Sims and No Name. There's entire catalogs of good music from younger artists like Denzel Curry or Vince Staples that I don't get to spend enough time with. Because the reason is one of y'all are bringing to my attention someone like Mike, who I haven't listened to yet because.
So we'll stop it there. He's gonna run down a list of
Yeah.
great artists now, but I wanna start by asking the question of, do you guys feel like there is an age problem in hip hop? We'll start there.
Absolutely. 100%. Me and Greg have talked about this too many times. I know he's on, I don't know if he's on the phone, but I know because our counterparts, other musical genres, the Rolling Stones have been on tour since the beginning of their career, and their fan base only grows. It came to light when there was an age problem when you have Method Man and Redman at the Summer Jam, and they are phenomenal lyricists, and people are saying they're too old. I'm like, one is from probably one of the most dominant rap groups to ever exist in hip hop, which is Wu-Tang, and they are intellectual beings who are teaching at high-end schools, Ivy League schools, providing phenomenal lessons. These are people that we should carry on legacies. Where I'm like, just because this music may not be, how can I say this? Their music aged with them. Their conversation matured, their understanding on how they produce good things matured as well, but their essence of hip hop is still the same. And this is very controversial because I'm dealing with it right now. A lot of you young people that think y'all young, you're 25 plus, player. You're about to be 30. All that drill, young aspect, kill that shit.
Yeah, that's
you need to mature in your musical taste. Now, that is a genre of music that again, we had this conversation before, that is war music in a particular area. And I'm not discrediting them because that's what they know. But we should not put an age on hip hop. We need to allow it to grow and support it for a lifetime, because hip hop is a baby. It just turned 50. Hip hop is it was created by young people for expression. And it is history. That history comes from the pain in which Black individual people in the ghetto came from. We cannot get away from the essence of hip hop. It was party music that eventually turned to storytelling, that eventually turned into Rakim and them telling about their pain and what their day-to-day hustle within the streets. And then it got into more demographic of like, I don't have to be this hardcore rapper. I can be a Common. I can be a Mos Def. We need to understand that hip hop was young, but it can grow as we go. Because it's like, why would I stop creating what made me who I am today? Why would I stop going into the booth? My musical creativity does not need to change. Conversation may need to change, but if you're like the Clips, if you're able to use it as entertainment, but not weaponize it, but use it in the sense that you're trying to tell something within a story, keep fucking doing that. That is a talent. That is hip hop. That is creativity.
You know, the thing that I want to say here is I don't necessarily want to say that this video is wrong or that it's right. I do feel like there is an age issue, but when you bring up things like, oh, well, when Nas dropped Illmatic, he was 19, and you know, when Outkast dropped their first album, they were 19. The fact of the matter is, when you look at it, hip hop itself is what, 50, 51 now, maybe 52. When you look at it, it falls down to this. Hip hop, as far as we know it, was born in 1973. Illmatic came out in 1994. Hip hop was 21 years old at the time that Nas was 19 and dropped that album. So here we are now. Nas is, you know, at 50 dropping the King's Disease, so on and so forth, and hip hop is 50, and we're saying that there's an age issue. I don't necessarily think that is the problem. I think hip hop has become too broad. And I'm gonna look at our Flower Ranger counterparts again here. Shout out to Shank. But when you think about this, we had rock. Whether or not black people created it is not the debate here. But we had rock music.
I'll say it.
Out of rock music, we got blues, we got country, we got metal, we got punk pop, so on and so forth. But when you talk about hip hop, they give us rap and R&B. But the thing is this: my son Braden listens to specifically, like, he listens to a little bit of everything, but his bread and butter within the hip hop sphere is kind of like the rage music. You know what I'm saying? So he's big on like the Cardis and the Shays and the Ken Carsons, and what they're doing isn't rap. It's categorized as rap. It's hip hop, but it's not rap. You know what I'm saying? When Migos and these guys came out, and everybody, including me to a certain degree, we did the dinosaur thing. Oh, mumble rap. Oh, like, we complained about that. What those guys were doing was a variant of rap. It wasn't what we know as rap, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the mecca of hip hop is New York City.
Oh yeah,
we cannot debate that. That is the mecca of hip hop.
Absolutely,
that is the original. So when we look at it, and we had a discussion, each region has their variation of hip hop, but the mecca is the East Coast.
Yeah, and I mean, but that's not what I'm debating more. So it's just the fact that I think that the problem with hip hop isn't necessarily an age thing, but just like we created rock and rock has gone on to create subgenres, we still do not have subgenres 50 years in for hip hop. It's either your rap or R&B. Well, like, you can say neo soul, but that's basically just R&B. Like, when it comes down to it,
but it's a subgenre, and then we have drill. People do understand that their drill in its own category, because you have to have that sound,
right?
There's a cadence to it.
But check this out, though. You can say that it's its own category, but check this out. If you go to BET Awards, if you look at the MTV, the Grammys, if you go to the Billboard, any of these places, on the charts, they don't separate them.
Then you are absolutely correct. Yeah,
and
because we separated.
But exactly. Okay. And I think that's what the problem is. It's like you give us this blanket, and then everything has to go under there. And like shout out to my wife. She's part of the reason why I really kind of expanded like my expanse on like what I consume in terms of hip hop. But like, all of this shit is created by us. All of this is our music. It's all different though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've like thrown the ageism and that separation and all that shit out the window, but I do feel like there needs to be some type of regulation. Like, I don't know if this is something that the record labels need to push, if artists need to push, but like, we got to shout out people like Uzi, where Uzi comes out, it's like, yeah, I'm hip hop, but I'm not a rapper. I'm a rock star. And he stand on that shit. But even then, like, regardless of how you might feel about Uzi and his antics and his music, even then, when he drops an album, where are they going to chart him in Billboard?
In hip hop.
Where are they charting Beyonce? Beyonce had to stand on, nah, nigga, this is a country album. This is a fucking country album. They still won't play her on country stations. You know what I'm saying? The Paradox Band right now is on a fucking run. You know what I'm saying? It's like the first, like, hopefully the first major punk pop black band to really do it. Travis Barker's co-signed them. He's on tour with them right now. They still not playing him on none of the rock radio stations. None of them.
And this is a phenomenal band that you can see within the comments that this is a genre that I think it was the most forgotten genre since our teenage years.
Yeah.
So I agree, and to mainly focus on the ageism, it is a problem within hip hop where we think people who are getting because they think hip hop is me going after this person and dissing him, and if I do that, I should be, a certain age. Hip hop is growing and talking about your experiences and making good music, how you feel. And I'm going to say this, and I don't care how anyone feels. You should not be 60 years old with no neck in the middle of the fucking street making whatever Benzino is trying to fucking do.
Yeah, no, that nigga need to go home. That nigga need to go home.
I'm so tired of the mic in the middle of the hood shit. I'm so tired of that shit. I'm so done with that. I'm like, nigga, you too old to be doing this, bro.
You're too old, like, bro.
Call Coy, make up, because you done did some other shit to piss her off, I'm sure. Make up with your daughter, any of the kids that aren't famous that we don't know about. Go home and be a grandfather. And this don't have nothing to do with age. This has everything to do with the fact that my nigga just be making bad decisions.
It was very bad because it's like you're trying to be relevant to a younger crowd so you can get your shit going. You fuck these younger people. They're not going to hear you anyway. Their language.
They don't care.
They don't care. Their language.
Okay. Wait. Hold on. All right, Charlie. Do you care about Benzino?
I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, just say it.
The only thing I knew about this nigga when I heard his name go around was A, he was Coy's father and was in the industry to some extent, and 2, he beefed with Eminem one time. That's all I don't know anything else about this nigga outside of that.
See?
And
you
because
don't
he looks
care.
like an alien, it looks so weird. I'm like, okay, I know what he looks like. He's a very interesting face. And he built
that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So why, like, when there's an entire demographic of yous in the world, why is it so important when there are people like us that remember when this nigga had to leave the party for the after party out, that bought Source magazines? Why are you not trying to create something that might appeal to those people that might know who you are? Why are you trying to appeal to these kids?
Because again, our generation, if we love it, we're going to spend the money on it. Every hip hop album that I move forward that I've gotten, I've bought because I want to support it, because I like things like that. I'm going to go to these concerts where I'm like, I enjoy supporting my artists because I didn't have it when I was a kid, but they're still playing the songs that I think is still hot. 50 Cent come out, 50 Cent come to the city, I'm gonna go see Fit. I'm gonna go see Curtis. And he puts out good music. You know what I'm saying? He's a hip hop artist that I grew up with listening to. That's good music. I grew up listening to Method Man. My son is not like G's kids. My son be like, Dad, I just checked out this Eazy-E album. You want to talk about it? Excuse me?
What did they listen to the hardest shit ever?
Well, no, like he said,
like, nigga, how relax.
My son, he did Eazy-E, he did Biggie, he done Tupac,
3 6 Mafia,
Wu-Tang. He did Jay-Z, Kendrick, and of course J. Cole, and even Drake. Like me and my son, we legitimately talk about music because his grandfather loves music, but it's something me and him can really relate to, and his understanding. So it's like we have to get back to the essence. Like, I like what you're doing, but there is a core and originality where it came from. Absolutely. So you need to pay homage, and that's one thing that the older generation needs to calm the fuck down on. We appreciate you for what you've done. Thank you for paving the way, because you had to do things that these younger kids did not have to face. But there's a way of requesting your homage instead of demanding, because these young niggas do not care. You had to go through trials and tribulations to sell your album. You had to go to the office. They can upload this shit on YouTube and be done. There's a different way of getting it out there. But if you can network it and still be who you are instead of trying to be young, just allow these young people to come to you with this type of conversation and knowledge. Because right now, it's no more of we're not in the age of hip hop when it's about art right now on a major scale. It's about, can I get paid? Am I out there? Am I getting seen?
So from real quick to Perry's point, I agree with you in regards to chilling the fuck out, because I do believe if you don't beg to be seen and be respected, people will do it. Like, when I've looked at a lot of the artists I grew up listening to, some of them aren't they good now? Like a ski master, slump god. High school, that nigga was the coldest nigga ever to me. Now, I haven't released any good music in a little bit, but
It's
that's
that's because you were dumb in high school, bro. It's okay. That was most of
I
us.
still listen to those high school songs like, oh, nigga. But his biggest song ever, arguably, is a song where he sampled a Missy Elliott beat, and he got that clear and spoke with Missy for that. A lot of artists are requesting features from Meth, like JID did a whole song with Method Man. He's done one with Eminem recently. Like whenever you are an artist and younger artists are inspired by you, they will want you to come around, or they'll want to use part of your legacy for their own legacy. So the whole like pleading to be seen and heard, I'm like, bruh, it's that whole thing of like, I have black friends. I'm not a racist. I'm like, nigga, if you act cool, you'll get an invite, or maybe we'll bring you a plate from the cookout. You'll be cool. But you asking and begging and pleading to be invited to the cookout is kind of weird. But to speak into the prompt, I guess, I feel like hip hop has two issues that are very prevalent in NBA discourse as well. And
the first one is Nicki Minaj.
She's part of it, but the main thing is the two biggest things are commercialization and people that are given a microphone to speak and a platform to speak about the culture that are supposed to be seen as the voices. When I look at the NBA side of things, right? Not even her, or maybe her. Well, no, not even her, honestly, because people think she's crazy.
That's fair.
We'll get into it. When I look at the NBA side of things, right, and you're looking at a Shaquille O'Neal, a Stephen A. Smith, these are two people who have a lot of cachet within the field of sports and NBA talk specifically. Shaq, obvious why he has that. But when you hear him speak about it, he does nothing but hate on the game, beg for respect to the game, show a lot of jealousy, and shows that he's speaking on things out of emotion and is not actually watching the games. Stephen A. Smith, in the same sense, we legit have, I think I sent it to y'all, this nigga, there's footage of this nigga at the NBA finals where he's at the game playing fucking solitaire. He's like, well, it wasn't during the game. Nigga, we see the whole panned out footage. They are actively playing on the court as you're playing solitaire. So you're not watching the game and then speaking on it. So you're not actively engaging. You're doing this because you're getting paid to talk about this stuff. You have to make bullshit up. In regards to music now and the people that are given platforms to speak about it, obviously to the youth, majority of them are streamers and younger people, like a Kai Cenat, Aiden Ross, some older guys that you may have in there, like a DJ Academics, Anthony Fantano in there. Anthony Fantano's probably the most ethical dude out of that bunch because I think he actually cares and he has cared for a while. But when I'm looking at Akai, he doesn't really look at music in a critical lens of the message or anything like that. He's looking at it for a vibe. He's pretty much made that very apparent. We saw that in the whole beef with the Killer Mike versus the Utopia album with Travis Scott, which we've already had our conversation about that, of how I think Utopia was a great album, but I think Killer Mike had a lot more message within that.
Man.
But then you also have dudes on the other realm, like an Aiden Raw. So because you have the guys where it's like, okay, he doesn't necessarily have the same conversations that you would want from somebody that's polished in the game as far as analyzing music. But then on the other end, where it really fucks the game up, is you have a dude like an Aiden Ross or XQC or niggas that have platforms. So therefore people want to hear what they say about everything, but they did build up a platform in hip hop. So when I see a dude who is inviting Trump to streams, who is letting his fucking assistant say the N-word and call people the N-word and doing very racial, doing very much so racist shit and participating in that behavior, but he's still given a voice where he's fucking calling Doechii untalented, all kinds of other shit. And we're allowing him to speak on that shit. Or a DJ Vlad is when we're getting to like some of the older people, a DJ Vlad, Adam 22, people that are coming within the culture who are given a platform and given attention to speak on things within hip hop, but they're not looking at it for what's in the best interest of hip hop. They're looking at it what's in the best interest of their bottom dollar and what gets them a platform, gets them more attention. There isn't anybody who is giving a very much so ethical viewpoint of hip hop and rap music that isn't either skewed by the commercial success that they want to have as far as making money, or to their jaded. Because I would say Joe Budden, but Joe Budden is usually blinded by the whole age thing too, where he's like, once he has a hard stance on hitting on a nigga, he's gonna hit on that nigga no matter what it is. Because the whole fucking shit with the Travis Scott shit, I understand that you think that Killer Mike had a better album. I think a lot of people do. But for you to then say, oh, that shitty or X, Y, and Z isn't rap or da-da. Again, infamously, the Migos. We'll go back to the Migos conversation because you brought them up earlier. Joe fucking hated the Migos. But then at the same time, we hate on the Migos to say that's not rap, but then we will still give credit for a lot of what they do going back to Bone. And a lot of the Bone, like they literally like, nigga, I'm maybe one of the few people where I grew up riding around in the car with my stepdad. My stepdad had like 3 CDs in his fucking truck all the time on his cars. It'd be fucking 3 6 Mafia, Project Pat, fucking CDs, Easy E CDs, NWA CDs, and fucking Bone. So I would hear Bone Thugs and Harmony all the fucking time. I can go back to songs I remember hearing growing up to where like they have identical fucking flows, identical fucking rhyme schemes. If we're considering this hip hop at this point in time, we can't not consider this hip hop because they aren't representing hip hop in the way that we would want them to represent it, or it doesn't aesthetically look like we would want. So you have to be open to both sides of one older artist that you are admiring, that you grew up with, as well as trying to embrace younger artists, even if you don't understand them. And I consider myself a young person, but I'm about to be 26 in a couple months. I'm getting over that fucking hill, and I'm starting to see. I'm getting there, and I'm starting to see it with some. You talk about Ken Carson? I can't fucking stand that nigga. Ian, a lot of the niggas off the Double XL, like a lot of these niggas, I don't like. There's maybe a song or two out here. I'm like, all right, I'll check this shit out. But certain shit out here, I'm like, turn that shit off. Where's my J. Cole at, nigga? Where Cole at? Where my wife? So I'm gonna get to that point. But I don't think there's anyone in hip hop right now that is a voice, that has a platform that's respected, that is ethical on both of those fronts, to where they're not letting money affect their opinion and what they're saying, as well as they're not jaded in being so much so wanting to be in their area and prop up only what they like. You can't only prop up what you are familiar with and what you understand. You have to give some credence to other stuff as well. Like, I was trolling or whatever else in the chat, but I listened to Clips. I listened to the Clips album. Nigga, I started that shit and couldn't put it down until I finished it. And I also can listen to some younger. Again, we need somebody in the culture that has that is that combination. I know what we're fucking talking. I'm talking about like a super nigga at this point, because it's damn near impossible to capture both fucking both generations.
We need a Little Richard in hip hop. People don't understand. Little Richard sponsors some of the biggest artists that we love and rock today. And people, and he don't get none of the fucking credit that he fucking deserves. The Beatles, he sponsored them. They was on his backup tour. James Brown fucked with him. Prince fucked with him. Little Richard is the king of all of them because of Little Richard. And he was like, he's like, I'm gonna take my credit. I did it, but still had fun with it because he knew in his heart of hearts, my time is gonna come when y'all sit down and give me my credit, because I went through it all for all of y'all to be the artists that y'all are today. And behind closed doors, y'all know the truth. And I recently just did a deep dive of who Little Richard was. He spoke truth. He done work. We need someone like that. So Method Man done it. M did it with Kendrick, but M did it to the point where
M's on a lot. Told everyone he's on M is like on everybody's fucking track now.
But M does it to the point where I want to see you by yourself. What are you doing in this booth? He wants to, because M loves hip hop, and that's one person that I love hip hop. I am a dinosaur of the hip hop era. I go in the booth, I get pen and paper, and I write. I feel the vibe. But he treats it as a 9 to 5. When it's 5:01, he's out the door and he's going to go see his grandkids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's like that, and that's who he is. But he's still networking. Method Man talk about it. Method Man and Redman. We have artists who are doing it now, and we need to give credit to credit's due. Nas, again, like the guy Buddy said, it's on a fucking run. He's putting out quality, good fucking music. It's just people. We as a culture believe that club culture dominates hip hop culture, and it don't fucking do that.
I fucking
club
hate
culture, it doesn't. And I have something. Listen here, niggas. Listen well. Just because you and your fan groups 15 people don't play this shit, there is 2.5 million people that monthly listens to that. So what you're saying is because of your demographic, and that's fine. But everything that, because I'm talking about a particular person, just because you don't want to admit it, everything that you're talking about, that you're going through, that artist addresses it. You just don't like the messenger. That's fine. It's okay. That's cool. That's okay. That's fine. If you want to feel like you got some loyalty to whatever artist that is an artist, that's fine. That's cool. I don't do that shit. It is what it is. Good music is going to be good music.
Yeah.
Because I love good music. So, and it fuels the genre to keep going, because when I pass, I want my kids to be able to go to someone with substance to relate to something. And my grandkids and my great grandkids. You know what I'm saying? My dad was, I'm so lucky that my father passed on in a major way. Greg hates E40. He knows I'm an E40 fanboy. In a major way is my shit.
I cannot fucking stand E40. Like,
and I am a hot boy's child. You couldn't tell me about nothing about 400 Degrees, BG album, or fucking The Block is Hot with Wayne. I grew up on that. Master P. My father passed that on. You know what I'm saying? Riding around in the Ford Focus with my father listening to that, or going down in the Benz when he's going to do his hustling thing. I went through different eras of hip hop, and I was blessed enough to sit back in my dad's like, pick one of these albums out the CD case that you like. And I was like, "Ooh, what's this green one with this plant on there? The Chronic 2001, son. Put that bitch in the. We finna bump it. You feel what I'm saying? That's hip hop. That is our culture. We need to respect it and keep growing with that. We need to be like, my daughter done put me on some music. Every time we go into the car, Dad, can you put on Kendrick Lamar and SZA so we can sing Luther together? Dad, can you play SZA's album? Livy will sit in the back, and as soon as she get the bob on her head, the car ride don't stop until she get done singing. I don't care if we're in front of the house, we're gonna spin the block. That's hip hop. There's no age to that. That's generations being passed down, because that moment is going to stick with her to the point where it's going to be subconscious that she's going to pass it down to her kids one day. Hip hop has no age, my brother. Because she'll sit back and she'll enjoy some of the music Daddy put on. When I'm really feeling like I want to play some Tupac today, y'all. And my son DJ be like, "Damn, Pops, what's this? This eyes on all eyes on me, part 1, son. Go ahead, do your thing. Let me know what you feel about it, and we'll talk about
it." Yeah, that's what's up, man. I agree. I hate to hear people with all this ageism and trying to label hip hop as one thing or another. Like I said, it does so many different things, and I do think that the biggest thing is that we have to put it out to the people that need to hear the things that are supposed to be heard. And I think that a lot of it is on us to make sure that we are keeping the Tupacs alive, the Biggies alive, the shit. Even like P&B Rock to a certain extent. Like, was he a legend? I don't really think so, but he got some bangers, and the Nipseys, like these fallen people, your XX, like there's so many people, fucking Juice WRLD, that left different forms of hip hop, rap, R&B behind, and a lot of them, while you might determine some as legends, some as not legends, even Dollar. If you, I don't know, Charlie, you might be a little too young for Dollar, but Dollar was fucking hard. And all of these people have at least one song that's fucking timeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we don't protect our legacy to like bring this up, play it for the youth, play these songs to put on the new people even as well. Like, if hip hop is in a bad state, it's because we have conditioned it to be that way. And obviously not us three as an individual, but all of us as a people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I literally a couple weeks ago, because my son, whether he was trolling or not, I don't know. He says he was trolling. He didn't seem like he was trolling. The boy trolls for breakfast, so it's hard to tell sometimes. But he came in and was like, "Man, Tupac is ass." And not in those words, but Tupac is ass, Bob Marley is ass. Nobody want to hear that. Yeah, just like just going on a tirade. And like for me, you know what I'm saying? Like we had to sit down, we had to have a discussion. I'm like, hey, are you familiar with what the Willie Lynch letters are? You know what I'm saying? And like really kind of sat him down, explained this to him. And it's like there's a video on YouTube. I could try to link it or send you a link if you want to put it in the description that really explains in poetry form what the Willie Lynch letter was and how it was used as essentially like as a blueprint for slavery to, you know, separate the slaves by the light skin, the dark skin, the young, the old, the able-bodied, the unable-bodied, the house niggas, the field niggas, you know, this neighborhood and this neighborhood, you know, this plantation, that plantation. And as we kind of going through it, he started connecting dots. He's like, damn. It's like dudes definitely beef like over neighborhoods. Did that root here? Dang, people still crack light skin, dark skin jokes. Did that root from here? Like, and we just go down the line. I'm like, this is the issue. You see, as Perry referenced earlier, Rolling Stones, ZZ Top, hell, fucking Ozzy Osbourne just did a performance.
Rest in peace. On his death chair.
You know what I'm saying? Like at like how old was he when like passed away? Like 80 or some shit? 70, 80? Like
that. Ozzy Osbourne.
And nobody, not a single fucking person said, man, this nigga Ozzy Osbourne, this nigga, oh, he needs to stop, nigga. This nigga needs to act his age, not his shoe size. Like nobody.
76 years old.
That is only in hip hop. That is only in hip hop that we have to question. Man, this nigga Jay-Z pushing 60. We don't want an album from him.
Hold on. I believe it is our fault because there was a point in time where we weren't like this. We always paid homage at the BET Awards when it went crazy. When we sat there, I think the best hosting was when Monique came out and when Beyonce was in her bag.
ET was still black owned back then, bro.
And you're seeing paying homage to some of the artists that influence some of our artists we grew up on. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I do not want to discredit the artists that are out today, especially the women artists. Because I there was a point in time in that video that pointed out of what women are doing with their albums. I'm like, yeah, Meg did it recently. But I'm like, Meg had a whole album when she was talking about what the fuck she was going through. And I'm talking about Shorty put her heart in those lyrics. You felt what she was stressed out. She didn't know what the fuck was on. She talked about her pain. That album was ignored. No one talked about that. But as soon as she got back,
come out shaking ass,
niggas is paying attention. I'm like, Shorty was just talking about how she really felt. And y'all skip past that. She know what's marketable. You know what I'm saying? She had to find healing within her own way because hip hop wasn't treating her album of pain as something that, damn, Shorty, I really feel what you're going through.
I mean,
and of course,
hip hop has never been the most welcoming to women in general.
And you're absolutely 100% right. And you know, Cardi done it. Fucking Glow is a forefront. Shorty's going after it hard.
Fucking shout out to Glorilla, man. I adore everything that she's doing, bro.
Yeah,
like,
Glow.
Hold on. Me and Charlie, Fuck Nigga Free was what I played at as soon as it dropped. Hey, Charlie made it drafted her, but I definitely was the nigga playing that.
No, absolutely. That was a late night Discord, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Before that shit went viral, just like Pound Town. Before that shit went viral, yeah, nigga. I already know.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I brought sexy to.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like, not even being funny. You want to know how to predict what is gonna stay around for the mainstay or be a major factor in hip hop? You come sit down and you just listen to Greg and Perry, nigga. I'm talking about. Like, I kid you not. This is like stupid. Oh, nigga. I remember the first time I heard Chris Brown Run It. It was before. This was like. God. This was before they even put Joel Santana on the song. I heard it. This was like 2-3 years before the shit even hit 106 & Park. I was like, oh, this nigga is it.
You know what I'm saying? When that Wayne remix hit, nigga, oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. the biggest fine for Greg for me was when that nigga introduced me to Pop Smoke, and I was like, man, this shit.
How early was I on Pop Smoke, bro?
That was before right before that nigga died, like a month before, and I'm like, who is this nigga Pop? And 50 co-signing him.
Yeah, I was on this nigga Big Pop, like Pop Smoke. Had to be like 2-3 years before this nigga. Like y'all niggas heard Welcome to the Party. It was like, hey, this is kind of hard. I'm like, oh yeah, that's old shit.
I swear to God.
You was sitting in my kitchen. I played. I was like, bro, this nigga is next. You was like, bro, what is this? I said, Pop Smoke. This nigga is next.
I'm not even gonna lie. It's 100% true. Like I give all for me being introduced to Pop is him. I brought niggas Nipsey. You're welcome.
Absolutely.
I was listening to Nipsey when I was in junior in high school, sophomore, junior in high school. I've been rocking with Nip.
I ain't gonna lie. The two niggas that I know was on Nip longer than me was you and Flugie. Like y'all niggas, like that nigga. That's it. Like it was to the point. Like I was like, all right, man, let me go check this nigga out, type shit. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have that ear to like hear when niggas is doing something that nobody else is doing, and pay respect to that shit, man. Absolutely. And like yell that shit at the mountaintops, cause it's sad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter if it's rap, if it's hip hop, if it's black music, bro. Like you have to. And
the fucking rock group me and Greg are talking about. I sent Greg this immediately. I'll say, Greg, it's back. Greg, I know he shed a tear when I sent him that fucking inbox on Instagram.
Oh, absolutely.
That nigga was like, I need more. I'm like, bro, they have 3 songs. I immediately, when they are in town, I'm going to go see them.
Yeah, Sleep Theory too, nigga. Like
he sent me Sleep Theory.
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, and it's a thing of like you have to put on like. But the unfortunate thing is, and this part of where things are today is, and this gets away from black culture, it gets away from monoculture in general, is if it don't go viral on TikTok, motherfuckers don't want to talk about it. Which is unfortunate because regardless of the fact that we are the tastemakers as the adults, kids run TikTok. So we are letting the children determine what music is actually being put out and promoted and blowing up. And that's why all of this shit is so short term. Like it's okay. Like I get it.
Buddy, I hear a song or two from him where I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I don't say he fell off because I think he's still dropping music that's solid. But from where he was when fucking $1 Million Baby popped off and I think he dropped 2 more songs that like were hits. I'm like, damn, Buddy did not have the longevity that I thought he would have in regards to music. And I really fuck with bro heavy.
I will say this, and I'll say this now. Stop, because we are hip hop, we are music.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Sarah or Jane make a dance to it does not make that shit hot, because they copy that from our neighborhood. I'm gonna say that again. They are not the ones that's going to popularize our music. We should be the one that back our music, because we are the one that need to support good music. And if your friends are making great music locally, put people on. FaZe makes phenomenal music. Simone got some tracks that are here.
I be banging her shit. I be banging FaZe shit. You know what I'm saying? That did you make it home? Say that's my shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like RSA Dom with his shit. Like it's like, but it goes beyond just like supporting local artists. Just like if you like some shit, you have to like put people on. You gotta scream it out. You gotta show your kids. You gotta show your homies. You gotta show your nigga. You gotta show your bitch. You gotta show your wife. You gotta show your husband. Like you gotta spread it, because like right now is, like I said, it all goes back to the viral culture. Like, and this is for me looking at like Steve Lacy. This nigga Steve Lacy has been making music that has been in his own pocket, in his own lane for years.
Yeah.
But then it's like you like, and you feel bad for cats like this because it was so many clips of people going to his shows, whether it was a festival or a concert. This nigga has hundreds of songs out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been making music prior to like 2017 even. But you go to the show and then what happens? They go to the show and everybody is sitting there. Nobody knows the music because nobody listens to the album cuts. They only want the viral moments. But then what you see is in the videos, if you see people like this perform, soon as I wish I knew, all you see is everybody hit the same move.
Oh God.
Everybody. Yeah. And everybody wants to make the TikTok capturing that one moment. A minor. Everybody wants to make a TikTok catching that one moment of the song. And it's like, that shit is damaging, bro. Like, we got to get back to like enjoying the B-sides. We got to get back to listening to the albums, sitting down, listening to the lyrics. Like, we can't keep waiting for the children on TikTok to curate what's next. And that's why people are going so fucking crazy over the Clips album. Is because it's not viral on TikTok. It's just good music.
I will say this because Greg, you sparked an idea essentially. It's okay to separate talking areas where we can actually curate adult conversations like this, because we live in 3 different areas: Georgia, AZ, Indiana. But when an album drop or a game, we're either going to play it, then discuss it. Charlie and I sat through the entire album of October London. Y'all don't understand that there are very few people that understand that I really like that nigga October London. And that album was crazy. And we sat and discussed it in our experience listening to it. We sat and discussed GNX. We went through different albums together and we was like, hey, let's sit down, listen to this album and see how y'all feel about it. And then we'll play it back. Moments like that should happen where we slow it down, and it doesn't have to be short-term forms of content. We don't have to keep up with the kids anymore. We are the adults. We have the money. We can separate the time. Fuck it, let's do it ourselves. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We do it.
There needs to be 2 things, in my opinion, to fix or to heal hip hop. There's 2 things that needs to happen, or really 3. I'll say 3. First and foremost, we need to get the leeches out. So we need to just Adam 22 Vlad. I don't know how niggas let Vlad T like y'all. I'll put that on y'all niggas because Vlad was a product of y'all era. That's on y'all niggas.
So let me give Vlad.
Adam's on us, but Vlad's on y'all.
Adam is on y'all, but let me give Vlad a pass. And this is the hold on real quick. This is the pass I'm gonna give Vlad. Vlad almost doesn't necessarily disrespect the culture. He just let motherfuckers come on his show and tell on themselves, and that ends up impacting the culture. I think it's a little different. I think maybe we can tap him on the wrist.
He leads niggas to like he asks leading questions. That's my thing.
Oh yeah, he'll absolutely breadcrumb these niggas.
But to his defense, and I'm going to look at everyone who go on there and get to talking. You do not have to answer that question.
You know what?
Media management. What is it? Media practice is dead against artists. It's practice. It has to be done with NBA artists. The NBA hoopers, players, football players, baseball. You have to go through media training. You have to understand how to answer a question. If it's leading to something, you have to understand how to diverge it or just ignore it plainly. Y'all willingly, because there's a clout. Clout is one hell of a goddamn drug. And a lot of artists go on there for clout. Buddy, if you want to be the hardest nigga out of whatever set you from, brother, that is on you. You say it in your music. Let us know you as a person. I don't give a fuck, man. Bro, we know you beefing with so-and-so. There's no need to keep that shit going. We get it. Like, we get it.
I'm gonna quote my boy Jay-Z on this. My nigga said, I keep my enemies close. I give them enough rope. They put themselves in the air. I just kick away the chair. And that is literally what happens in those situations is he gonna give you the rope, but you can use that motherfucker to tie some shit down and keep it pushing. these motherfuckers choose to say the shit they say and end up in the situations they be in. Like, I'm breadcrumbing you. You can eat, or you can follow the trail. Like, you've fallen into situations, man.
I put as much onus on him for the breadcrumb shit because you could be a platform that uplifts the culture, but you're there knowing you're there to sow chaos within it. It feels like the most CIA shit ever in regards to niggas dropping crack in neighborhoods and shit. That's why I hate it with the burning passion. But to the point, we need to get those niggas out of there, the Aiden Rosses, the dudes that are obviously not for us, but we allow to be in here. And again, the Aiden shit's on us as well. That's
we
on
gotta
us to an
get-
extent.
Y'all got someone who allowed their woman on camera
Oh God.
to get deflowered.
I don't even care about that shit.
Adam 22, and it's I blame.
I ain't even mad at that shit. It's the street shit he was trying to do and all the drama he was curating there. And he tends to have a lot of opinions on black women and certain topics. And he was like, "Well, you can't consider Biggie to go because he only has 2 albums." And I'm like, "Okay, bro. You know what?
Shut
You're
the fuck
not
up talking, bro."
But first and foremost, get them out of here. Secondly, we have to curate a space similar to what Perry was talking about before, to where we can have the young and the old come together. One of my my perfect moment at seeing this was when I went to this fucking Anderson .Paak concert. There were I was sitting next to a lot of uncles and aunties, but they would have their nieces and nephews and shit next to them. And nigga, we got to listen to Malibu, him go through that entire album.
Man,
and that shit was fucking beautiful.
I'm still jealous.
That nigga, bruh, I ain't gonna hold you. He may be up there with some of the best performers of all time.
That nigga's hard, bro.
I don't know.
That's another one I was on.
Drum,
That's another one I was on years ago.
And dance at the same time, nigga. That nigga he's it. But we need to curate more spaces like that, either at concerts or have spaces like me and Perry had, where we were just going through an album where you can listen to something, have the conversation, discuss the differences of perspective. You need that space, because we can't have any more of that ageism shit to where, because your music doesn't necessarily align with what I'm going through now or what I went through in my past, because it's made by someone of your era going through things that you went through. Cool. But then if that's the case, explain to me what you went through and what was going on at that point in time in the era, why this music was needed. Explain to me why a Public Enemy was needed to stand up and say a lot of shit against the bullshit that was going on. Go back to, okay, Cole's doing that now, but for the shit that's going on now, or whatever it may be. Like, you need to have that dialogue there.
There has to be a conversation. I would say, and I just want to, because you said something with Anderson .Paak, having uncles and aunties there with their nieces and nephews, bro. Because Indie Black Expo used to be an event every Sunday when they brought out the old school artists. I remember my mama taking me to go see the Isley Brothers.
Oh God,
Keith Sweat. There was a lot of artists that came through, but I sat there for the free concert every year, and I'm engaging. That's why I have such an old soul, because I'm like, this music's good, and it's music I can talk about.
Now it's only 112 every year.
No discredit to 112, but
Jesus.
Yeah, I need something new. But no, like it moments like again, moments with my daughter, that's generation being passed down. Like, we have to not to say we are modernizing how we pass on folk tales as they did in African tribal times, through stories and music, by sending that message through that, but it's just modernized. We do not need to conform to what the fuck they want us to do when it comes to our culture. Fuck them. You know who them are.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, all I'm saying is, like, I just feel like every black person should know Dave the Dope Fiend shooting dope who don't know the meaning of water nor soap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's shit like that. Like, niggas, like, we just have to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to pass those things on. Like, and children's stories even before my time. But I just remember being in the back of the seat. Like, if we, as you said, if we don't show the previous generation why this is dope, or why it was dope, why it was needed, why it changed things as they are, and where they can be found in the DNA of music today, like, they're like, what are we doing? It's like, we have to be honest. Like, black people, we were moved here, and really, like, the music is the only thing of our culture that we have that's Black American culture at this point. It's our art, our music, our dance, our paintings. Like that's it. We just have our art. That's it. So it's like we got to stand by it. We got to continue to flourish. We have to continue to like kind of separate out those genres because like something else I think about kind of going back to that, like imagine like a MF Doom who is essentially a legend, but album sales wouldn't indicate that. But think about this, like how much more successful would guys like that be if you know that if you want to look and you want to search on Spotify melodic rap, you can find your Lil Uzi Verts, you can find your Migos, you can find your your Juice Worlds. If you want to cite and just throwing some shit out there, hippity hoppity. You go for hippity hoppity. When you go in there, you're gonna find your MF Dooms. If you go for a backpack rap, you're gonna find your old school Kanye, your Common. You know what I'm saying? Like if you give these people a clear, decisive platform, these artists become so much easier to find. Because even right now, if I go on any platform and I search for hip hop albums, like y'all gonna put Gucci Mane next to Andre 3000, and then y'all gonna put Andre 3000 next to Eminem, and like while all of these artists are legendary in their own right, there's not a lot of niggas that's gonna listen to Eminem and then turn around and listen to Gucci Mane. Those are two different people from two different genres of rap. You know what I'm saying? Like I think us as a people, like, and like we gotta find a way to like be heard, to like make sure that these artists have a fair shake at shit. Because like when you put us all in the same barrel, it's like a crabs in the barrel thing with the music. And that's essentially why I feel like we have these issues with the young and the old, is because while they're trying to do something different, we aren't giving them a chance to do something different, because we're essentially forcing them to just call this shit all the same thing. And it's not.
No, the last thing I'll get, my last point to fix this shit, a lot of the onus I put on younger people in like the first part in regards to like Aiden, Kai taking certain nigga like that not serious. I put a lot of onus on a lot of the older generation, because to part of the point in the video where you have part of the old guard like a Wayne who was so influential on like damn near every young artist now, to fucking niggas like Nelly doing shit like going to Trump's inauguration and performing there, or Rick Ross performing and shit like that. When older artists, I think I mentioned this quote to y'all before. And when you leave a garden unattended and weeds sprout and fruit and crops rotten and spoil, that is on you. If you're not actively engaging in hip hop and constantly being a present figure, it's going to turn into something that you're not going to recognize that you didn't have a hand in curating. When we have some artists like an Eminem is still around speaking to certain artists and getting on certain songs. Method Man is like still connecting with certain people, like we mentioned before. Like these previous artists are around and connecting with younger artists, and sometimes these younger artists aren't like blowing up to like a Drake or Kendrick level because they're so connected like that. But like imagine more if we had like a Missy Elliott linking up with Meg right now, or Glorilla a lot more. Or if Nicki wasn't so fucking crazy, we could have a Nicki and like there's no reason we shouldn't have like a Nicki Cardi Meg album right now, bro. There's no reason we shouldn't have that shit.
Fuck a Nicki Cardi Meg album. Imagine if Nicki, instead of punching down, would reach down. Imagine how fucking crazy of a tour that would be to have Nicki, Cardi,
Doechii,
Meg, Doechii. Like if you like think about what they did with the Scream tour. Like even the original set of the Scream tour, you had like B2K and Mario and Bow Wow, like all these, and y'all don't mean nothing by it, but all these sexy young niggas back in the 2000s that all the girls was going crazy over, like they got their little sexy asses on stage and got a bag.
Eat that shit up.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all eat that shit up. But it's like with Nicki, it's like y'all all like to shake ass. Y'all like there's no reason why we haven't had like just a bunch of y'all just bad women in hip hop. Like if Nicki would just organize the shit versus like patronize it.
I will give credit where credit is due. Meg is probably the leading factor of connecting with female
She
artists.
is.
Oh yeah, she's doing her thing.
It was either on tour or they were at some. I remember it was some performance or event they were at where like it was the back dressing room. It was like her, Glorilla, Lotto, not Kendra Man. What's her name? Cardi was there. It was a dark skinned woman. I'm trying to remember her name. It wasn't Kendra Man. It was fucking oh my god, I'm blinking on her fucking name right now. Flo Millie. They were all vibing, dancing and shit. I'm like, bro, we should have more shit like this. Even in the men's side, I feel like nigga, till the day I'm in the fucking grave. I swear to God, before I leave this earth, if I don't hear this fucking Kendrick and Cole album, nigga, I will show these niggas out. I'm still traumatized from the Black Friday remix, nigga. This February Sick Get Scary, nigga, I'm going to murder these niggas if I don't ever get this fucking album. And then they got songs leaking and shit here and there. Then nigga, you know how mad I was when Drake and Kendrick beef happened? When that first person shooter shit and the like that shit dropped, I couldn't give no fucks about Drake and Kendrick. I'm like, y'all dragged Cole into this shit and we never gonna get this fucking album now.
Right.
I'm like, Cole, he apologized. I'm like, Kendrick, he's sorry, bruh. He's sorry, nigga. Like, come on, bro. Kendrick. He's sorry.
Kendrick, hold on. Dot standing on business right now.
Like, give me the album, nigga. I need this fucking album, bruh. I need this. Like 17-year-old Charlie needs this album before I'm in the grave. If I don't ever get this shit, I swear to God, I will die mad.
Rumor has it the reason the fall off hasn't come out yet is because we're still waiting on the Kendrick verse. You know what I'm saying? Like we just, hey, bro. I don't know, man.
Cole was in rare form, nigga. Every song, every feature, it was
every song.
I was like, this nigga for like 2 years straight, he killing features. Then this nigga drops that fucking mixtape, and the shit was hard. And then that shit came. I'm like, this nigga Cole was he wanted to be Kumbaya so bad. See, it's the big three. Yeah, we started doing that nigga. No, then just because Kendrick and Drake beefing, they don't fuck the whole thing up. They don't fuck the whole game up. Oh, that shit makes me laugh. Oh my god.
I remember when I think it was a summer event on MTV. Oh no, it was Jay-Z and DMX on tour together. That is a powerhouse tour. Jay-Z is a phenomenal. He's an icon, and this is when I think the Blueprint was out. What was the other album that he had? Blueprint, the Black Album one. Now, what was the one that start with an R? I can't fucking think of it.
Renegade, not Renegade. Was it Renegade? I'm not sure.
That's a
track. That's a song. Never mind.
That's a track. Fuck. Hold on, because I refuse.
It's a Jay-Z album that starts with the R.
No. Yes, Reasonable Fucking Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt. His first album.
Okay, wow. So he had a sorry, Jay. Sorry, but we had albums like that. Like Jay had albums that were fire. He had to follow a man that growled, and the entire stadium shook.
What my dog said.
Had everyone jumping around, had the niggas going, then had a track that had the women crying, and at the end of it, had niggas praying, and said that wasn't even the main event. You go on. You follow that.
Yeah.
I remember hearing Jay talk about that in the interview about like having to follow that shit. Like, bro,
he said it a few times. I seen there's video of it, like because also a lot of these artists, because I know we going on tangents, it's just a lot of these artists don't have stage presence, and it fucking shows.
Jello, fucking Jello.
My wife went to she went to a Glorilla concert that had Sexy Red and like D-Lo on there. My wife said out of everyone there, because Glow was on tour with Meg, and you could tell she learned a lot about.
She's getting better,
running it. Oh, yeah. Seen that? Glow's the headline. She said outside of Glow, the women was running the show. Sexy Red knew how to control the crowd and have fun on stage and do her. D-Lo and them didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Oh yeah,
it was dead. It was fucking dead. I'm
never
like,
never mind.
We will talk privately. Yeah, Boss Man D-Lo.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. I peeped D-Lo game whenever he was talking about how like he was like, yeah, I only make like 1 minute songs because niggas will replay this shit over and over again. I was like, Oh, if only this shit wasn't so hard, bro.
I swear to God, I'm like, bro, if you
Oh.
wasn't dropping some shit that was fire, I would mute you.
Yeah, but I can't.
I'm a fat nigga,
I
give
can't,
me more chicken. I was like, that shit's so fucking cold.
I can't take that nigga serious. That's the funniest
Bro,
nigga on the planet to me, bro. I'm sorry, I ain't never like the. Anyway, man, this is what I'm gonna say.
Boss, baby, get on the road, nigga.
I can't with the boss man, bro. The D-Lo nigga, I can't, bro. I just can't, man.
Wrist
that nigga funny,
what
bro.
was it? That game will be
wrist was fuck. What say? Wrist game on bling blow. Wrist on prison, baby.
Blizzo, baby.
Goddamn,
you know, all right, look.
Shit hard.
Look, I'm sorry.
I see Charlie that he's like, nigga, I know. It was like this fun shit for like 3 months.
You know what's crazy?
I can't.
The only niggas I heard the person that put me onto that nigga for real that was really repping him was an old nigga. That nigga, Mumford, my boy Chris Mumford from Blurred. Mumford like 45 to 75 years old. That nigga was like, man, I love Boss Man D-Lo. I love Boss Man. I'm like, you like this nigga, bro? You like this nigga?
You like you?
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't talked to him since then. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I couldn't take dude serious in the first place. I thought it was kind of a joke. Like that's like the only thing that I feel like separates me from some artists. Is like, well, some rappers I'll say is like the gimmicks. Like I feel like so long as I can listen to you and understand that you take your art serious, I can't say the worst I can say is it's not for me. Like if I can hear it and I feel like you, but it's like Boss Man D-Lo, that nigga, you can tell that nigga don't take that shit serious. They get that nigga a hard beat and then he just go in there and be like, I'm gonna say some funny shit and we gonna kick this over to the producers and we gonna make it work. Like,
I will say this, in all fairness, as a nigga who's my auntie was this nigga's high school algebra teacher, my boy Titty Two Necklace is the most funny. That nigga is probably the funniest rapper I've ever heard in my life. He be making the most goofy shit sound fucking hard. Where's Paris Hilton? Where's Cash Stacks?
But see, Titty Boy was actually dropping this nigga.
What did you just call this?
Titty Two Necklace, nigga. You don't know about Titty, but what song was that? What fucking song was that? I can't remember what song he called himself Titty Two Necklace, nigga. I was like, that shit sound hard as fuck, but it's so fucking goofy.
I fucks with 2 Chainz though, man. 2 Chainz is one of them niggas that will surprise you. He presents a real simple flow, but that nigga can go.
They say that I'm crazy.
But again,
they say that I talk to a
again. Hold on. There's somebody that I couldn't find it. I think I sent it to another group of friends that he said that 2 Chainz is one of the most lyrical people out of Atlanta that is out doing Andre 3K, T.I.
No,
I swear to God. And I think, Charlie, I sent you a kid that was saying that a young kid that was saying stuff as well.
Oh, he was on that podcast with the older dudes.
Yeah. And that one kid came through. I'm like, I've never raged in my life, but I want to get my belt and whoop that.
I mean,
niggas don't put some respect on T.I. name at some point. We just.
I think T.I.'s thing is like, I think T.I. is one of them niggas that should have went the Jay-Z route and just stayed off of like TV and social media. Like the more and more we see a T.I., the more we realize that this nigga's a wumbo-sized cornball, and like where his entire brand has been around being too cool for school, having these big words, being intelligent and sliding out. Like the more we see of this nigga, we realize he's just a dumbass nigga that knows a couple big words. He's just corny as fuck.
He got the Terrence Howard fucking dilemma, where the nigga just know all this pseudoscience.
Yeah, it's like that nigga just need to. I promise you, if that nigga shut the fuck up, go sit down in the corner for like 2 years, drop a single, and do one interview where he drops like 3-4 star words, not even 5-star, 4-star words, that nigga will be okay.
To be fair to him though, he is a talented nigga. And I think he just wants to get into different things. Because I don't know if y'all seen him do stand-up. The nigga can do stand-up. The nigga, like, I've heard other comedians that are like valid, like give him the certification. Like the nigga is a solid stand-up comedian. He does a bunch of different
I haven't
stuff.
seen him in a while.
As an actor, I can't speak to. I think he's a okay, like a C to D tier level actor. He's okay. Like he wants to get. And as a nigga that wants to do a bunch of shit, I can't be mad at him because I don't want to be pigeonholed into the one thing.
Yeah. I can respect because I'm stand-up's my shit.
Yeah. I mean, even then, just shut the fuck up. Like you can get your hands in other stuff.
I respect he's doing better than these fucking online people who scared
his son, nigga, his oldest son. His oldest son can rap his
is
ass
a
off.
fucking musical.
Rap his ass
Goddamn.
That nigga hard, bro. No Diddy.
Hard.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that nigga go crazy.
That nigga putting around good music. So
yeah.
But yeah. We've been running for about 2.5 hours, so I'm gonna let y'all go to y'all families and y'all children. But yeah, y'all.
Kids?
So
they've all died of starvation.
My bad, little Nicholas.
Yeah,
right.
My daughter's with her mother, so I'm left to my.
So we can, hey, if you want to run some ready or not tonight, nigga, I can get it downloaded.
I am ready whenever you are, and I'm streaming. I am letting everyone know I am the officer of the law. If you move, nigga, I will put 2 hot ones in you. Don't fucking breathe wrong with me.
I can't afford to buy this game right now. Don't make me do that. God damn. Talk about that when I get out of chat.
Oh god. Nigga, next week I will buy the game for you. I know I told Sean that I will give you the money to buy the game.
Hey, look, if you want to do that, by all means.
My friends so bad, I'm like, nigga, I will buy you the game. Please just play this shit with us.
Bro, if you want to do that for me, I will accept the offer. Just know a nigga just got back from fucking Disney World and the Bahamas and the cruise and all that. Nigga, we try to get back even right now, okay? So
I got you.
I'm pinching pennies.
We're gonna talk after the stream. I got you. I've been budgeting relatively well trying to pay this comic off. So I got some extra shit in the stash. Allegedly.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm just a contract nigga now making some money.
Yeah, shit. He got more money than me. He need to give you the bread for the game. This nigga rich.
Hey, this nigga want to be Mephisto so bad, ass nigga.
Like, fair with you on shit, chill.
Right. Hold a spoon up to this nigga. See if his skin is red in it. Head ass nigga.
Nigga out here like Bone, like Snoop Dogg and Bones, nigga.
Right. Hey, funny enough, that is like when we was kids, that was like one of this nigga's favorite movies. I'm like, bro, this movie is kind of trash. But he's like, bro, I don't care.
That's just
no. It was Bossing Up. That was my Snoop Dogg movie. I can quote that movie from beginning. I wasn't
even gonna bring up Bossing Up.
Too late. If you ain't got nothing to believe in, you can believe in me, baby.
Bro. Mute the man and end the stream. Just do it, bro.
Before we get off, y'all want to tell everybody where they can find y'all at platforms and all that good stuff. I know apparently I've heard it's a rumor. I don't know how true it is, but Blurry Lines Media is supposed to come back at some point soon. Just throwing it out there.
I could say this. You can find me on CyberDad 2011 on Twitch. I stream. I've been streaming. I actually consistently every week. Friday and Saturdays are the days you see me, and then throughout the week, maybe once or twice. Single player games, and then I'll have multiplayer games as well, playing with my friends. And then if you want to find me if you just want to email me, talk about tech or anything like that, you can reach me via my email or my website, cyberlounge.net. And let's connect, let's build something, and we can have a conversation.
Yeah, I'll put the stream link in the description below for anybody who wants to find it.
Yeah. You can find me a couple different places. You can find me at DadPad Gaming, essentially anywhere. Will I respond to you? It depends on my day. If you want to catch me more so on some lag shit, you can catch me on Instagram at mid_West Coast_Soul. That's SOL as in sun. And then also, of course, if the rumors are true, you can also catch me over on youtube.com/@blurlinesmedia. But we'll see how soon that happens.
Fingers crossed, y'all. Again, for anybody that is new to this stream or finding me or anything to do with this channel in general, this is the Captain's Lounge. I am Captain Diesel. The Captain's Lounge is a format in which I bring on friends, colleagues, and individuals that are just dope, and I want to have dope conversations about random stuff with. Sometimes I use it to talk about content that I don't feel like write the script over. But again, if you want to see more of me and what I have to offer in regards to longer form content, you can subscribe and please hit that notification bell because YouTube be playing around as far as giving you guys notification when the videos drop. So please, and you'll find different videos I've done on different things of that nature. I think, again, if you guys want to see my actual thoughts and my explanation on the Mael stuff with Claire, with Expedition 33, I'll have that linked at the end of this video here. And I already announced it in the last stream with my guy Ernie, but I have my first comic that I've written and produced on the way. I think I've kind of set the date for that to release probably on Halloween this year, where everything lining up. So on Halloween night, we're gonna have the comic debut. Hopefully, if I have to get time.
I helped. I gave him inspiration, and it felt good. So with that, when he makes it big, he's gonna buy me a white macadamia nut cookie because it's my favorite cookie.
Wait, y'all. So very quickly, apparently, Sha'Carri Richardson just got arrested at the Seattle airport for allegedly shoving and then throwing her headphones at her boyfriend, fellow athlete Christian Coleman. So she is locked up right now. This shit just popped on the news out now.
I'm not talking about anything negative on platforms about her because I want her to be successful.
I want her to be successful too. That's why I
will discuss that privately.
Yeah, we'll get into that. And then again,
right,
what you guys can see coming up soon, I have secured very soon. I'll have an interview with my guy Doug Wagner, the writer for the Fashion School Serial Killer and vinyl and plastic stuff for Image Comics. He dope dude, makes dope stuff. Hopefully I can have him on here soon. And then you guys can also expect a video on I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer coming out very soon that I have getting worked on right now. Comic that is amazing. 6 issues. I think the final issue of the run came out today or last Wednesday. So again, content on the way. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. Follow my guys if you find them. Again, if you guys want to see more of them, they will be back here. They're usually here. We'll have some kind of deep conversation in the group chat, and niggas be like, "We streaming?" I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll set the shit up. We'll talk about it." But again, and guys, this has been Cyber Dad, Dad Pad Gaming, and me, the Captain. And remember, forever and always,
you're now watching the Captain.
And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.